Yeah! There you go. How you doing, YouTubes? Welcome to Love Beer Radio. It's me, Matt, Massive Beer Reviews. How you doing? You doing, this guy? And then Joe from Any Beer Reviews. We're doing the hanging out together.
Yeah.
Show kind of thing.
This is the last week's pretty shitty connection issues
shit
on
show.
my end.
Shit show Joe.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how it rolls.
That's my nickname apparently for the show.
So yeah, we are going to do a show, and we're going to talk about beer because we love it. So there you go. It's kind of full circle with that whole Love
so
Beer
that's
Radio
what the title
thing.
means?
Yeah.
Shit.
No one knew it up until now.
41 episodes.
We finally get to the reason. Everybody was like, "What the fuck does Love Beer Radio mean?"
God.
And lo and behold, it's because we fucking love beer. So,
who would have thought?
Well, cheers. So yeah, what's going on, dude?
Not too much. Pretty big interview week so far. Last episode I was talking about how I went to how I was going to Virginia for an interview on this past Tuesday, and I came back Tuesday night. Well, went down Monday. Actually, checked out the brewery, which is Mad Fox Brewing in Falls Church, Virginia. The beer was pretty good. The guys the owner and the current head brewer both worked at Capital City Brewing Company, which is a brewery I went down to. I've been down to a bunch of times now.
It's got to be in DC.
Yeah, there's a big theme with breweries in that area where they'll have the brewery itself is outside of the city, but they operate a tap room within the city.
Okay.
So Mad Fox does this, Capital City does this. So Mad Fox's brewery is in Falls Church, and Capital City's is in Shirlington. But both guys that are at Mad Fox, the owner and the current head brewer, were at Capital City. And I was, that time where you see someone and you're like, this dude looks really fucking familiar, and I can't place it. And then he goes, he's like, I've only been here for 6 months. Before that, I was at Capital City Brewing. I'm like, fucking, that's where I've seen you before.
Nice. So how'd the interview go, or the trip in general?
The interview was pretty good, actually. They were like, how, do you mind a move like this? I'm like, at this point, no. And they're like, we have a couple more people that we're looking at. Like, how quick can you move down here if need be? I'm like, I'll fucking start looking tonight. They're like, don't go too crazy. Like, we got some more interviews, but that's good to know. But it's a neat little place. The brewery's pretty cramped. It's like you walk in. I've never seen a mash lauter ton combo hot liquor tank.
It's like that?
Yeah, it is it's a double vessel.
But equated to me size wise, like a building I would associate it with brewery wise that I know. Or maybe other people out there know.
Okay.
Bigger than Breaker?
Yeah. Bigger than Breaker.
Bigger than Weyerbacher?
Maybe a little bit smaller. I think they're on a 15 barrel system. So they're smaller than Weyerbacher, but bigger than Breaker.
There's a big gap in there, but
there is a pretty big gap in there. They're a little there may be double. I'm not exactly sure what Breaker's working these days. I forget what they said during their episode, but they might be double the size of Breaker.
Okay.
So maybe the current, a little bit bigger than what Endless is working off of right now.
Okay.
But yeah, the mash tun is a 2-vessel. It's a 2-stack system, and the bottom of it is the hot liquor tank, and then the top of it is the mash tun and the lauter tun. It's like
the when you see the washer and dryer combo.
Yeah.
Like one of those.
Yeah,
things.
Three Guys in a Beard actually has a similar kind of system, but it's a double bright tank. So like it's like two bright tanks stacked on top of one another. This is two things doing similar stuff, but like a holding tank and a actual working vessel on top of one another.
Nice. So for those that don't know, Joe went to brewery school in Niagara College up in Canada, and he's looking for a job. So anybody out there, in the brewery world, looking for a brewer, even keeled,
right yeah,
no, what I would say, I'm trying to see no fucking weirdness. I'm trying to say what would be the weirdest part of Joe that I would say. I don't know, man. You're not weird at all. No, you're just like
I really like Dark Souls.
Family.
If you're into...
Don't tell him he's not allowed to play PlayStation. That would probably be his biggest vice. So if you know anybody out there, let us know.
But it was a pretty cool trip. So we went down Monday, checked out the brewery, then had my interview Tuesday morning, like late morning. And after that, I hit up this bottle shop called Red, White, and Blue, but blue as in the cheese.
Ooh.
I know, good fancy. So it's a wine, beer, and cheese shop. And I was telling you before we went on, but it's still a funny story. I walk in, and like I just see a couple, like, you know how they'll have like the display cases of beer, and then like, you know, a couple 4-packs of that same beer like broken up and put on top, and then a cooler in the back, and like fucking wine as far as the eye can see.
Yeah,
I'm like, don't even fucking tell me.
Yeah, you go in there to drink some beer and eat some cheese, and
I'm
you're
like,
like,
I want some fucking,
I have 3 options.
I'm like, I want some beer, and like I'm like, there's Terrapin right here, which is okay, and Allagash White, you know, that's a pretty good wheat beer, and then like there's some stuff in this cooler, and I go to the guy, I'm like, is the beer just that? And he's like, no, there's a whole nother room in the back. I'm like, all right, cool. And I walk back there. I'm like, all right, well, this is more like it. So I picked up the beer that we're going to be reviewing tonight, which is Van Dammit from Jailbreak Brewing Company.
Is it going to be your first Jailbreak beer?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
that's not it.
It's right there on the table.
I already put it. Van Dammit. Just to give you guys an idea. I mean, it's Van Dammit. Let's call it Van Dammit. Who doesn't want to drink or review a beer that is Van Dammit? So anyway.
Then I picked up a beer from Atlas Brewing Company. They're in DC, and it was their like a hoppy rye ale. So that's going to be reviewed on my website. And Amanda picked out 2 beers as well. The only non-Virginia beer, well, I got a 750 that we'll review together, I think.
Licking Hole
Creek's Chai Virginia Black Bear, which is their Russian Imperial Stout with, I think, chai spices.
I've had the base, the Russian Imperial Stout, but I haven't had the chai base version.
I think they had the base there, and if I would have done it again, I would have gotten both of them to do like almost like side by side.
Okay.
But then we got an alt beer from a brewery in Baltimore, and I'm blanking on the name. And then Ready Set Goes from Unita.
There you go.
So,
what else you got?
I could finish up that trip. I went after grabbing something to eat. We went to DeClaw out in Bowie. Well, their one location in Bowie.
How was it?
It was pretty good. I had Neon Gypsy, which is actually the first time that I've had it. It's like one of those beers that I just kind of walk by all the time because it's fucking everywhere. Never had it before. I'm like, fuck it, I'm here. Let me have something. I'm like, let me have it, you know? So got to try that, and I thought, like, the menu actually said they had a decent amount of seasonals. So it was like Devil's Milk should have been on tap, like Obel and a bunch of other stuff. So I go to the guy, I'm like, I was going to get another pint and then like I was going to do a sample of Devil's Milk and sample of Obel. And the guy's like, the only thing we have on tap, like seasonal wise, is like Hellraiser or whatever the hell they call their.
You think it was because it
chocolate.
was like a midweek Tuesday, Wednesday thing, and they're kind of fucking holding off shit for the weekends and all that kind of bullshit?
I don't know, honestly, unless it's just like you're not going to be drinking. We don't want people drinking fucking 250 pints of devil's milk all goddamn day because Tuesday is all day happy hour.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, that actually might have something to do with it too. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Because I mean, devil's milk in general up here, a 4-pack, a 6-pack of devil's milk up here is like $14-15. So I can imagine what fucking happy hour Tuesday.
Yeah,
a draft of it is. It's probably like $2.50 for a pint of
it's
fucking
like
barrel-aged barley wine.
Yeah, all drafts are like $2.50 on Tuesdays because of their all-day happy hour. So I'm like, fuck it. As I asked the guy, I'm like, can I just have a sample? He's like, you can have a sample, but like pints are $2, like $2.50 because it's happy hour. I'm like, fucking, I'll have a pint then.
Let's do it.
Yeah, and then I had the
sold.
Yeah, I'm like, ooh, let go of my arm. Really twisted it there. Then Hellraiser's actually pretty good. It was also the first time having that beer. I don't think I've seen it as much as Neon Gypsy, but it was still really good.
I don't think we've ever talked about this online. I've actually never heard anybody talk about it. I'm sure it's been talked about before, but I've noticed that the smaller the beer, the better it is on draft.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like it's atypical, like smaller beers. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's harder to hide flaws. So it seems like when it comes straight from the source, there tends to be a bit more pop, a bit more brightness to the beer than bigger beers. So like to have a Neon Gypsy that you found at your local Mix-a-Six that might have sat on the shelves for a couple months or whatever.
Yeah, it sat on the shelf over here and then like gradually made its way over to the Mix-a-Six section, you know?
So yeah. So that was your trip, Duke Law, and then anything else?
Just we stopped at an Irish restaurant for dinner in Gettysburg, but I didn't have any beer because I didn't feel like it.
This guy didn't feel like beer.
Yeah,
jerk. Anyway,
I was driving home. I already drove from Maryland to Gettysburg on 2 pints of beer.
I don't think I have any. I'm not sure if I have any beer stories for this week. Let's see. Did the radio show this weekend. We had Breakside Brewing from Oregon on. Never had anything from them. All their beers are really good. You had a couple tasted them when we went to 17s. We had their
old ale thing was real good.
Yeah, we had their it was a jalapeno. Well, it was a peppered IPA, which was nice. Mm-hmm. And then we had the barrel aged kind of. They called it a barley wine. It was more old ale like. Yeah, and that was really good. I forget who we have coming up this week, which I should know. Which should be nice. Which leads me to the next point. Is that the radio should do on the weekends. I might be taking it over full time, and kind of taking over. I do it with another guy, and it's his show, and he might be leaving, so that'll be interesting. So you get to hear me on fucking radio yammering in the camera. Now I need to find like a secondary person to do it.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm still around.
Well, obviously, if you're still around, but I'm not banking on Joe being here, being the whole brewery thing. I mean, yeah, if you get a job at Shawnee or Weyerbacher or somewhere close to
whatever. So, but even if I got like the job at like Omegang, I'm like, I
it's not that far of a drive.
Yeah,
so
not that far.
It'll be interesting if you're not around to find like someone else to do the show with, because I have people that do the show with, like the guy who runs the show. He talks most of the time, and I probably talk too much. Mm-hmm. But then the other two people I do with are super nice dudes, and I love hanging out with them. But they're peppering a couple things once or twice. Mm-hmm. So it's it'll be interesting finding somebody else to talk. I think other than that, just got some beers from people. People drop off beers. My buddy, we just drank together. We drank Bitter Valentine from, what was the name of that brewery again? Aleworks out of Virginia. And it was really good. Yeah, Williamsburg, Virginia. It was really good. I not to sound like an old timey fart or some kind of like historian, but it is by far the best double IPA I've had below the Mason-Dixon line. Mm. You know what I mean? Like that sounds like I'm like narrating some kind of weird show, but I don't know why I said that.
Back in the war,
back in the Civil War times, Aleworks was making a Bitter Valentine. So, yeah, that was really fucking good.
That was.
And I was telling him with an idea going up. We're gonna drink a beer after this one. Maybe I'll crack it right now. We're gonna. I was talking about maybe going up the Russian Duck on tomorrow. Not sure if I'm gonna be able to do it, but if we gotta get up there before you find a job and just kind of have a day and go up there and relax and shit like that. So other than that, yeah, I think that's pretty much my beer week. Got any news?
Let's see. Oh, there's a brewery opening up, a new brewery opening up in Pittston, which is a couple minutes away.
Oh, yeah. What was the name of that place?
It's called Black Owl Brewing Company.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. We'll crack this up. Four Hands India Pale Incarceration.
Incarnation.
We both fucked up. Anyway, here's the weird part about that. Before you even get in it, well, you tell a story first.
So I actually got the article sent to me. Well, my mom's secretary sent it to her, and then she forwarded.
Hey, can Joe work here? Kind of deal, one of those things.
Yeah. So it's honestly you
walk there in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
From my house.
Yeah, from my house. I can see my house probably from where it is. And I never heard of Black Owl. I was going to say Black Oak, which is in Canada.
Yeah.
Black Owl.
And they made good beers. Black Oak.
But it's a guy from Bear Creek who teaches at King's. He's been a home brewer for a while, and he's opening up a brewery and building a building, and then hoping to move to, I don't know, I made a joke before, some magical bigger location that's a block away that I don't personally think exists. But
when the story came out, two things, and this is what I was going to say first off. For someone to open up a brew pub, not that I know everybody, you know everybody, but for someone to do that and not know that this person exists is kind of weird to me, especially in this area, and be like, okay. But there's people that get homebrew and just have dreams and they want to do whatever they want, so whatever.
I mean, they're
not located, to know who it is.
They're right out the back of fucking Tomato Bar. That's where the building is.
Yeah. So, but for them, and let me preface everything. I hope they kill it and they make awesome beer, and it's awesome because that's what we need. Mm-hmm. But to know, be like, who the fuck? How do I not know somebody's opening a brewery? You know, I figured I'd be in a no. Not that I know everything, but anyway, the whole build now and then build later kind of scheme. I was gonna say scheme. It's not a scheme.
Boy,
I get it. In my eyes, what it might be is the person wants to use the summer months to get a word of mouth going. Maybe open up a small, really, what's the word I'm looking for? Minimalist tap room. Yeah. To get legs underneath them, and is waiting on bigger brew equipment. So maybe
that very well could be.
Maybe that is what immediately popped in my mind. Okay, well, we've ordered what we need, and most people go, "Oh, I'm going to order the brewery equipment I need to have a big brewery," and then they go, "Okay, we'll see you in 2 years."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or whatever.
Well,
they're like,
we'll get right on to building that for you, and it's done when it's done.
Or he bought it from another brewery who's going to expand in a year, whatever. And that's my gist, is that the person's like, okay, well, I want to kind of get, because it's hard to open any business in the winter, especially northeastern Pennsylvania. So I assume the person is like,
I think, in brewery senses, though, it is hard to open up a business in the winter, but typically that's your slow months for a brewery. Your peak months, you kind of start going, and each brewery is different, but in general, you kind of start climbing in spring, and then you peak around midsummer. And then late summer, you'll start going down, and then that'll carry into fall, and then you kind of level off in winter, and that's kind of your slow time. So in a brewery sense, if you want to open, if this guy, depending on how fast they're actually building this building, he could be opening his doors and then immediately running out of beer.
And
just not having enough.
That's the case in a lot of breweries, though. You know what I mean? If they don't plan accordingly. So.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I mean,
I think it's pretty
I'll
cool.
I'll go.
Yeah,
You
I've
know
actually
what I mean?
thought about just like, because I could just not like
Knock on the door and be like, you need help?
real nonchalant, like just kind of drive by one day, like see if anybody's there, and like pull in, just be like, hey, the guy that is running this whole thing about.
Yeah.
If
The only
not,
problem with
here's
that,
my
you would know
card.
you wouldn't probably be employed because he's probably doing everything
Yeah.
himself. That's what happens when it. But to make it, you never know. Wouldn't suck to hang out and brew one day to just see what's what.
Yeah.
What else you got? Any more news?
I don't think so.
I wanted to talk about one thing. We'll talk about Treehouse Brewing for a second.
Okay.
Have you ever had any of the beers yet?
Yeah, you brought growlers back. Right. Was that from Treehouse? Or was that from some
other half?
Was that other half?
Yeah, the stout and the one thing from New York when I came back from New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, Treehouse Brewing is
Okay, then I haven't had anything from Treehouse.
a super popular brewery up in Connecticut, like super hipsterville, but I love their beers, so what does that make me? Anyway, this is like I just want the numbers. That's why I want to talk about this story. So, Treehouse Brewing, I love their beers. They're probably by far and away my favorite IPAs because they're super juicy, super sweet. They're outside the norm. Some people, I love hating shit just to hate it. So there's a lot of breweries that I hate just to hate, and I tried to do it with this brewery and I just couldn't do it.
Yeah,
because I was like, in the end, I was like, fine, you're good. Now I have to be a fucking homer about it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because I tried so much to hate it that they won me over.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they released a blog post last week.
Something else after you. Right.
They released a blog post last week saying they're going to expand.
Okay.
And I just want to talk about this just for sheer numbers, because to me this is like this is just bonkers. This isn't even fucking. This is not how beer works in the world. Okay. So they preface this is how they preface their the blog post had is like trials, tribulations, and growing family. A word on 2015. What a year.
Mm-hmm.
They go. Okay. First off, they're one of the most popular breweries in the whole country. Okay. The first paragraph is the best. We started brewing in 2015 in a garage. So they started in 2015.
Yeah.
And like one of the most popular breweries in the whole country. In a garage with one employee and 55 barrels of cellar space. They do a lot of cellar space, not brewing space. We finished it with 13 employees and 650 barrels of cellar space. Jesus. So that's how, in 1 year, that's how they expanded. Wow. Yeah, it's kind of bonkers.
Yeah.
And then they talk about how they're progressing and they're going through and just growing as a brewery. And they go on to something new. We're building a new brewery. And mind you, they expanded in January too. So they doubled their capacity in January and maxed out immediately.
Yeah.
So they're going from a what do they stay? They were doing. They're going from 55 barrels of cellar space.
They went from 55 to like 620,
650. Now they're basically opening a 55 barrel brew house, not cellar space brew house.
Yeah.
In a 5,000 square foot retail space, and they'll end. And this is going to be complete in 2017 early. That's the plans. By the end of 2017, they'll have 125,000. They'll be producing 125,000 barrels a year. So in 2 years, they're going to go from a glorified fucking homebrew setup.
Yeah.
To 125,000 barrels a year. And they will hopefully they're in a 30 barrel brew house right now. Mm-hmm. And they're going to go to a 50 barrel brew house, but they're also going to have, let's see, what are the bells and whistles here? There's I'm looking for the bells and whistles they're gonna have here. There was this crazy tanks and all that kind of bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in the end, they're gonna max out what was the cellar space one? It was like something like 500, 50,000 worth of barrel space in the cellar. That's what they're gonna have. You know what I mean? Like it's just the numbers. So they're in a 30-barrel brew house. They're gonna almost double again within a year, and just produce crazy beer. But here's the crazy part: they're still gonna be just in-house only, like no distribution. But here's the thing: they'll max out again. Yeah. So easily. Imagine just, and the numbers are crazy, okay? But it's
honestly what everyone who has even for a second thought about opening a brewery, like
it's like hitting 9 home runs in one game. You're like, oh, I got a dream. Yeah, I'm gonna play baseball one day and hit a 5 grand slams in a World Series and be the MVP. Yeah, and they're like, no, if you're really lucky, you make it to the majors and you play a couple of years. Yeah, and no one ever does that. And then the person's like, yeah, I actually hit 17 home runs in a game. You know what I mean? And he's like,
yeah, like every time I was up, it's fucking home run each time. You know, like that's them.
And here's the fucking part, because you know me, I'm Captain Cynical. You know what I mean? I hate shit. I think they deserve it. It's that good of beer. Yeah. And but it's just crazy to see those kind of numbers, and it's awesome. You know what I mean? To see somebody do it. Now here's the funny part: they're building an enormous brewery. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be Troves, like it's going to be like a mini Troves, like as far as size goes. Yeah. It's look. I looked at the plans and the way they have it laid out looked kind of Trovesy in my brain. Okay. A little more glass, but kind of that warehouse feel with glass and stuff like that. Mm. This is in the middle of nowhere. Like you're gonna drive through cornfield, cow pasture, cornfield, cow pasture, nothing, cow pasture, huge brewery. You have to drive through like 3 hours of nothingness to get to it. That in itself is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that's really funny.
Anyway, so that was the only news I had for the week.
I have actually one more thing I completely forgot about until a couple.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You said you were going to talk about
something. This was a picture last night. I took a screenshot of it from Brunswick Beer Collective. They were in Monk's Cafe in Philadelphia. Have you been to Monk's Cafe before?
I've actually never been there.
Okay. I've been there a couple times, maybe 2 or 3 times. It's a nice place. I really like it. Good beer selection, good food. This is their beer list. So they're going through their beer list, Brooklyn, Deschutes, Cricket Hill, Firestone Walker, Flying Dog, Founders, Jolly Pumpkin, JP something something. Then it has Lagunitas in bold print, with the dash, and it says, "We do not offer any Anheuser-Busch / InBev crap." I've got 2 problems with that. One, Lagunitas isn't owned by fucking InBev. They're owned by Heineken, and they merged with Heineken. And Heineken's not under the Anheuser-Busch InBev bubble. 2, that's fucking beer hipster nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it.
I get it too. But then they have like Firestone Walker is not independent. They're under Duvel. Omegang under Duvel. It's the like Duvel is the lesser evil.
I personally don't view Boulevard of Firestone Walker and Omegang to be like one of those things. I view that like an old like English style, like let's just join forces with another town so the other towns don't take us over kind of thing, as opposed to
I can see that,
but here's the thing: the whole like fuck whoever. Mm-hmm. I get it, because it's what we all kind of want to do and think and be like fuck that shit. But a couple things can't believe I'm saying this, but who knows if that person who's drinking the shit beer is eventually going to become a craft beer lover. Mm-hmm. Why turn them off from the idea of being like, oh, you're a piece of shit? Yeah. You know what I mean? 2, I've actually seen that fail. That actual thing is a local place, more local to you than me, but a local bar close to us that serves really good beers called Arance. They serve Miller Lite and Bud Light and stuff like that in their house, but they didn't want to.
Yeah.
But you have to keep the lights on, unless you're a select few. You know what I mean? Like there's, monks. I don't know, like outside of monks. I mean, there's certain places.
They're not a place that's you're not going to see like Miller Lite, Bud Light, Coors Light in a place like Monks.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Lagunitas is still good. Yeah,
like, but I'm talking to the broader spectrum of corn, shit, whatever.
Yeah.
What they started to do, Ron's, what they started to do was if someone ordered something that was made by like, Anheuser-Busch or Miller Coors or whatever, they would take an old school Mr. Yuck sticker and put it on the bottle, then serve it to the customer. And it just is a joke.
Yeah.
But then they stopped doing it because they realized a lot of people were like, fuck you, man. Like, you putting a Mr. Yuck sticker on my bottle? Like, who the fuck are you to call me, like, and when I drink a piece of shit? You know what I mean? Like, and they're like, yeah. At first they were like, ha, ha, ha. But then they didn't realize how big of a douchebag they were being.
Really a douchey fucking
You know what I mean? And it's kind of like that's the same kind of thing I'm getting. It's
it absolutely is. I'm like, just don't fucking, like, don't put it on there.
Yeah.
Like, that's... To me, it's unnecessary.
Yeah, if you want to make a menu and you want to put like craft, and then you want to put like import, and then you want to put macro and throw it under that, but nothing else but that's fine. Knock yourself out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If you want to categorize your beer list in any way, do it however you see fit.
Yeah.
But like that's gonna turn off people,
Yeah.
And like I actually commented on it. I don't comment on shit, and I commented on them like they do realize that Lagunitas is owned by Heineken, right? And then somebody else tagged me and was like, "You beat me to it." I was gonna do. It's like I was gonna say that, and that was the end of it. Like the person who posted the thing.
Yeah, shit like that is just like, I get it. And I used to be that person too. When I stopped paying attention as much. I don't know what I want to call it, but it was just dumb. And whatever. People want to do whatever they want to do. Knock yourself out. I don't fucking care. But don't expect me to be happy about it or back you and be like, because a lot of people, I've had a lot of friends do that, and they'll like make jokes. And then they'll be like, yeah, right. And I'm like, no, don't act like I'm fucking on your side with certain shit like that, whether it's beer or other
or anything else.
Or like, other stuff. You know what I mean?
Before my brother stopped drinking, I would bust him for drinking cheap, shitty beer, but he's my brother. I can do that. You know? I'm not going to do that to just some random fuck in a bar. Like if I see somebody ordering, like it just looks in certain places, it just looks silly.
Yeah.
Like, and if you're in Tomato Bar that has like a bunch of different taps, if you're in Sabatini's, it just looks odd for somebody to be drinking like a Coors Light. But I'm not gonna do you don't do anything about it. That's just being a dick. Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, people are fucking dummies.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get to the show.
All right.
So we're going to be talking about defunct. I don't know how do
It's not so much defunct, but beers or styles. The way that I had it out is like brewing like historical beers or historical recipes. Ales of the Revolution, in terms of yards, or like Midas Touch for Dogfish Head.
See, and this is where me and you are on a different page.
Okay.
Because the way I read it was beers that were brewed in the past that are really no longer brewed anymore.
Okay. We can even talk about that as well.
It's much the same.
It is. And then using like historical ingredients, I put like spruce or like a native fruit to a different country or something like that, and the benefits of it. The review is Jailbreaks Van Dammit.
Say what, Van Dammit? Say what?
And then the second topic is, are there any styles that we think are either on the decline or will kind of decline that future brewers will want to recreate?
Well, first off, I'll start off.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of this conversation, and I'm not going to have a ton about to say about this, but what I do have to say, I'll try to make sense of it. I think a lot of this, for me, maybe it comes from a different thing for you, but when you broach this subject, first thing I thought about was me drinking the upstate New York Kentucky Common Ale, and then you mentioning about not making it or having it or studying it in class when you were up in school. And it was like one of those things where you're studying beers that aren't around anymore. And I'm like, I'm drinking one right fucking now.
Yeah.
So it was like kind of like that thing. That's immediately what popped in my head.
Like that's even a style that on the new BJCP guidelines I think they put in.
Yeah.
I'm like, none of us, like 18 people in a class were like, the fuck style is that? You know? But yeah, like that was actually, I have to give credit. I should have done that before I got into it. I have to give credit to Amanda for this topic. She
whatever, she's Amanda.
Yeah.
Love
she's
you,
not
man.
gonna, yeah, she's not gonna watch this. If she does, love you too. But the way I thought of it was like kind of recreating older. Well, actually, that's exactly what you're doing.
Well, it is, but at a different scale. There's a difference. There's a difference between taking, like, for example, like the Kentucky Common Ale that Upstate Brewing in New York. Those who don't know about them, check them out. Awesome dudes. Mm-hmm. They brought it back to Kentucky. Well, they didn't bring it back, but they brewed a Kentucky Common Ale, which is like that. Or like to I don't even want to say lesser extent, a lot of Goza. If you go back 5 years, Goza was the same fucking deal as the Kentucky Common Ale. No one was fucking brewing them or drinking them. Sure, you had places in Germany fucking making them, and there's classic ones.
But it was almost forgotten. Was like few and far between.
Yeah.
They were like literally on the verge of that style was on the verge of becoming extinct.
Yeah, and then now it's back. Now you can't fucking. I go to Wegmans. I saw like 17 of them.
You're
you know what I mean?
Over the fucking things.
Yeah. So it's like it comes to that.
They all have a fucking pun name. Too.
Yeah. That Gozas are totally the pun name beer. It's like, whatever. And that beer. I mean, so there's beers that are coming back, and there's more coming back. Like I've seen a lot of breweries. They don't call them grits, but you have a lot of breweries trying to make beer without hops.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, okay, well, that's naming the style, but they're just trying to be different and new, but it's not different and new. It's something. Listen, when people wanted to drink beer back in the day, they always didn't have fucking hops.
Yeah.
So a lot of the beers that were brewed back in the day were brewed because they wanted beer, but they had to use what was at hand.
Yeah.
Now a lot of those, I mean, you want to do a catch-all group, whatever, but a lot of those beer styles have fallen out of favor, not because we don't want them. It's because they probably sucked because they were just making ends meet.
If you even like. You go back even farther, probably around the same time that roots are being used, beer was smoky. Beer was smoked, whether you liked it or not. Because that's how you killed your malt. You killed your malt.
Yeah, there was no. Let me get like a light killing on that malt.
The only time that we
there's a lot of kill it till it's dead and thought process because it was like we can't drink the water. We're going to die. Kill it with fire. Then we'll drink it and get fucked up. That was what was going on.
Yeah. So, like, we see reports of people saying, oh, this beer is smoky right around the time indirect heat was figured out. Yeah. And then, like, they're like, oh, fucking the best way that it was put was from Victor, who does Garden Brewers. He was the teacher for that class. He's like, life was smoky. He's like, life was smoky. Yeah. So we see accounts of things being smoky when we made it so that they weren't anymore.
Yeah. The whole life is smoky thing. Like when we go, people wax poetic about going to a campfire and smelling like a campfire. I'd be like, but when you smell like fucking the campfire 24/7 because that's how your life is.
No,
I mean, you don't smell it after a while if that's what you live in.
Like
so
I just did my laundry today and I was like burning some papers for my mom and my pants smelled like a campfire. I'm like, this is disgusting. I cannot smell this 24 hours a day for my entire like 20 years of life.
Yeah. So a lot of old school beers, super old school. We're going old school here. Super old school. Were born out of necessity. Now, what you have is like a lot of the newer interpretations of older beers. Again, Sam Calagione, the whole fucking Dogfish Head, he's always looking to bust out weird shit. Yeah. So he always reaches back into history, which is smart as fuck of him. I'm not fucking being like, oh, he's just cheating by dipping back into history. No one else is fucking doing it.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say no one else is doing it. No one else has the freedom to do what they want whenever the fuck they want to do it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's true.
I've heard, take this with a grain of salt. Sam, if you ever watch this, which you never will, but if you were to watch this and I'm an asshole for saying this, reach out to me and you can fucking punch me in the face. But I've heard stories of like Dogfish Head will not let him close to their fucking production facility. They just let him do like super small pilot batches. You know what I mean?
He has actually said it on like, it was either some other thing that I just watched on YouTube, or it was in the Brewmasters show that he did for like 5 or 6 episodes. He doesn't know how to brew in the production facility, which is, it's fine. He has somebody to do that for him.
Yeah.
He knows how to brew on the system that's in the brew pub in Rehoboth. Yeah. So like, if they just like, if I were the people in the production facility, I'd be like, just fucking go over there and do whatever the hell you want. Like,
do your thing. If you come up with something cool, let us know. We'll scale it up. Knock it out.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. So it's like that thing where it's like, so he can afford to be like, I found some dead Mayan berries. Yeah. And I heard there was a extinct chocolate found in Tutankhamun's fucking tomb. Let me make a beer of those bitches. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Oh, wait. I heard that fucking some crazy fucking Alaskan fucking Eskimo fucking made a weird ice beer once. Like, let me go make that beer.
Let's do that too.
So it's that kind of thing. And it's cool that they can do it. They don't all taste good. Of the ones I've tried, but the creativeness, the drive to make cool shit like that is fun.
Yeah, it is.
So he's pretty much like the fucking textbook for bringing back the old.
Yeah. The one thing, like the one series of beer, I actually don't know if they probably still do it every now and again, but I'm not entirely sure because I haven't seen them out for a while. Is the Ales of the Revolution from Yards, and that's like old school recipes from like Ben Franklin, George Washington, and Thomas Jefferson.
Never had any of those.
I think I had the Jefferson Tavern Ale, and I've definitely had the spruce beer. The spruce.
Might have had the Jefferson Tavern. I just didn't know it was part of that series.
Yeah.
But I did square off Yards for a while there, and I wouldn't drink any of their beers. Like Yards to me was like a brewery that I really enjoyed, and then like from what I know, again, take that with a grain of salt because this is what I know, because I know nothing. That
was weird.
Is she okay? Loose.
Is she all right?
Lift her up. There, sorry. My dog is a little bit. Her hips are bothering her, so you might have just put pressure on her hips a little bit, maybe.
All right.
She's okay. Sorry for the interruption.
Good. That was weird.
Okay, Lucy Poos. Anyway, the Bisto, go lay down. Anyway, what I know is their brewery used to be brothers, and the brothers had a falling out, so then the brewery kind of separated, and one became Philadelphia Brewing Company, and one is now Yard. So it's like it used to be different. So like back in the day, like when I used to have one of my favorite old beers was they make it now, but I swear to God it's different. Maybe it's a palate thing, I don't know. But even now they make it. They brought it back. It's Trouble the Yards. They're double. It's actually a double between the double and the triple. They call it. Back in the day, that shit was fucking delicious. And it used to be, but it was like it's different. Anyway, continue your story.
So I haven't had the porter out of that series. I'm fairly certain I had the tavern, and I definitely had the spruce. But I think it was an interesting series for them to do. One, looking at beers that two presidents made, and then using something that was actually used for like pseudo medicinal purposes. The spruce contains a lot of vitamin C, and there's accounts of like sailors in Canada finding spruce and like brewing a beer with it, and that's how they got their vitamin. That's how they
get rid of that scurvy.
Yeah,
baby.
that's how they got rid of scurvy. Was with spruce beer and like spruce tea and stuff like that. So I think that was pretty cool, and I would have liked to have the porter as well, just because I like dark beers.
Yeah,
and I think that would have been an interesting recipe. And I'm not sure if if like Williamsburg Ale Works. I don't know if it's the same place as that Bitter Valentine. I don't think it is, but I think they did something that was based off of like George Washington's porter recipe as well. I think that was pretty cool. But going back to Dogfish Head, the one beer that, at least with the using like historical ingredients, was their Sun Never Sets IPA. And the Sun Never Sets phrase, it was an English IPA, and the whole phrase was the sun never sets on the British Empire. So they actually, it was a collaboration beer. I just looked it up. I'll pull it up right now, so I'm not just spouting off the top of my head. It was a collaboration beer with Beavertown from London and De Du Ciel, actually.
Ooh.
And they each brewery picked a different ingredient. I originally thought it was from different places in the British Empire, which would have been really cool and would have actually made more sense from the name. But it was actually just different ingredients from India. So Dogfish Head chose something called jaggery, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's a palm sugar. De Du Ciel chose Malabar black pepper, and Beavertown used tamarind, which is a fruit. And then apparently they used a little bit of cumin as well. And that went into like an English-style IPA with Calypso. They used malts. They used Canadian, UK, and US malts. And then also Calypso and Citra hops.
Okay.
And then a blend of yeast strains originating from the UK and the US. I think I've never been like this. I think this was only a like brew pub release. And my mom's friend's husband, I think, got to try it. I've never been down. That's one of the breweries that I really want to go to. I want to go to their brew pub. But it sounds like that to me is kind of like a very clear that's a Dogfish Head beer. We're gonna use fucking different ingredient. Like we're gonna have a challenge. Like you got to pick a different Indian ingredient, and like it's like fucking beer Top Chef. You know?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But yeah, I mean, the whole bringing back stuff. Like there's.
Don't break my shit down.
Do me a favor while you're downstairs. Grab go into the lowest bottom shelf of the fridge. Grab good out of the bottom there. But I mean, a lot for me of people bring back beers. I get the creativeness. I get it. It's awesome. I love it. Keep doing it. Don't stop doing it. But the problem I get a lot with that is two things. One, doing it just to do it is not necessarily just a good thing. Just because it exists doesn't mean it's good. And two, a lot of beers that actually have fallen by the wayside or are now extinct are there for a reason. Like I said, there's a lot of beers that were made out of necessity, right, Nika? They're made out of necessity, and that necessity doesn't exist anymore. Like like we don't need to find a false hop. We don't need to use dandelions to hop our beers anymore because we have hops. So, you know what I mean? Like, so like a lot of those older beers that are, you know, whether it be not using hops or not using traditional malts or something like that, just don't. We now have the ability to make it the way it needs to be made. What do you think, Nika? Well, I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? She said a lot, so there we go. But yeah, I get it. I do get it, but a lot of the beers that Sam makes, especially Dogfish Head, as opposed to the other places he makes beers, they're not exactly the way they were made. I don't think they were. I think what they are is they're taking the core elements of today's beers and using the ingredients that were used in the past. You know what I mean? So it's not like he's making carbon copies of a beer that was made, you know what I mean? Like fucking in 1020 AD or some bullshit like that. He's making a new she's making a new version of beers. It's not like he's taking a recipe from back in the day. He's taking ingredients from back in the day.
And even then, like our like just in terms of malt, we have such a well modified malt that, you know, it's impossible to make something to a T the way they did it back then.
Yeah.
Unless you like kilned and did your own malt and just your version sucks, you know, then like maybe you can do it. But like just from that standpoint alone, you know.
Word, you up for a beer review?
Yes.
Let's do this. So, what do you think of this?
I think this is really good.
Yeah,
I like it.
You dig it? Yeah. So we're going to be doing Jailbreak Brewing. This is probably my third or fourth Jailbreak beer. This is your first, right?
Yes.
I had their God damn it. I'm getting really frustrated. I had their jalapeno beer, which whatever that was, and I had their double IPA. All right. So those are the two I had. I forget the names. I apologize, guys up at Jailbreak, but we'll see what this is. But it's a bigger beer. This is a 9% Belgian style dark ale. So we'll see what this has to offer. Like the name, the whole Van Damme thing. I didn't know what style it was going to be. I didn't know if there was an actual style to it. Or I just assumed it was going to be a smaller beer.
Mm-hmm. Looking at it, I kind of assumed that it would be a smaller beer as well, and then I saw it, and I'm like, oh, this is a 9% Belgian dark.
Yeah, let's see. Get this even here. Not that that matters. And then, yeah, I mean, as you can see, you know what I mean? Like it's, you know, finger. Khaki head. It's very clear. It doesn't have much haze or murkiness to it at all. The super lightest carbonation you can possibly imagine.
Yeah.
And you know, it looks like a dark beer. From afar, would I say it's a Belgian dark? Sure, but I could also call it a Scotch ale. It actually looks very Scotch ale.
It does actually.
And or I can call it a multitude of other things. So
yeah.
Let's dive into the nose and see if she's Belgian. Well, the first thing I get is just a generic dark Belgian candied sugar vibe. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm getting predominantly. I'm not getting a lot of those what I like spicy, peppery, bready notes that I typically get from Belgian. It's more just candy sugar forward.
Yeah, a little bit of fruits as well.
Yeah, definitely dark fruits.
Yeah, dark, like
dainty
generic
cherry,
dark,
dainty cherry.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Yeah, I am getting a little bit of a Belgian yeastiness, but again, it's very.
It's kind of.
It's trying to be Belgian, not Belgian. That's the vibe. Like when I talk about my reviews, I talk about a Belgian soul. This is that outside of that.
Did I tell you was it on the show that I told you like actually seeing or like really experiencing like what you call the Belgian soul.
Yeah, we talked about it. I think it was the last episode we talked about it. It didn't click until you had that one beer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll say it again. Like we were down in Philly a couple weeks back, and Amanda and I just picked up 2 actual Belgian beers. I had XX Bitter from Durank, and she had another like actually pretty old Belgian brown ale. And we're drinking them. I'm like, these are really fucking good. And then Amanda grabbed a can of Concha Hawkins, like coffee Belgian something or other. And I opened it, I poured it into her glass, and she's drinking it. I'm like, oh, I'm just curious. I'm like, can I try it? Once we tried it, I'm like, and it just immediately like clicks. I'm like, I now understand what Matt is fucking saying.
Yeah, there's this. It can't be faked. It's like if how do I put it? It can be put 1,000 different ways, but when in a movie, if you watch a movie and I can't tell a lot of times if someone's faking a Boston accent.
Yeah,
someone from Boston would be like, that's a fucking fake Boston accent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Same thing, British accent, whatever you want to call it. They'll be like, there's like a lot of actors that do it super fucking well to the point where like 90% of the, not that I say I'm so honed in that I know more than anybody else.
Yeah.
But there's like 95, 99% of the people will be like, he did a great job of that accent. But someone who actually
you didn't
speaks that language, you're like, that person does not fucking sound like it at all. And that's the Belgian vibe I talk about. Like when I drink a Belgian beer, I know it. And it's not just Belgian. There's beers I've had from Oregon, from fucking St. Louis, Missouri, like a bunch of places that taste exactly like a Belgian beer to me. So it's not like I'm telling you the difference between American and Belgian beer. It's if it has a Belgian soul. You know what I mean? That's why I say that was words.
You can, to me, definitely tell, especially after this experience, I can kind of tell like the American, and I've brewed them myself. I'm like, I get that same smell that I got off that Concha Hawkins beer. I'm like, yep, that's it. There it is.
Let's dive in.
Yeah, let's try this.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, and if I was going to try to explain that soul, because it's not a bad beer at all, in any means whatsoever, but it does like it tastes like. I said this in a review. I don't know if I posted a review yet, but this is how I've defined the belt. This is the best way I've defined build my fucking what's the word I'm looking for, the arbitrary Belgian soul I talk about that's hard to explain. This is the best way I've explained it. And it's a lot to do with a lot of other things in my life that I have theories for, so it makes sense to me. When brewers, whether it be Belgian or whether they be American brewers, if they try to make a Belgian dark, they go, okay, I'm trying to make a Belgian dark. I need these things to make a Belgian dark. This is how you make a Belgian dark. It doesn't taste like a real Belgian beer. When someone who says, I want to make a Belgian dark, and I'm going to try my best to make a Belgian dark, then I know what ingredients I need, but it's not the ingredients. It's making the beer. I'm going to try to make the beer the best I can. Like, instead of being like, okay, I have these ingredients, and these ingredients make a Belgian dark. As opposed to, I know what goes into a Belgian dark. I'm just going to try to make a really good Belgian dark beer. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference between those two. There's I have calculated the amounts of which ingredients should go into this beer to make a Belgian dark.
I think it's the same. It's the same way of like I don't want to say it's kind of the same theory that I'm picking up from you saying this is like the hipster thing of like the guy who spends 10 minutes getting ready in the morning versus the guy who spends 4 hours.
There's a dash of that, but there's also a difference because there's also a lot of like other factors. There's a terroir factor. There's the what's your water like, what's your temperance like, what's the environment you're brewing in like. Is it you know what I mean? Like a lot of the Belgian beers that I've had that have really been like, okay, this American company has made a Belgian beer that I can't discern between American and Belgian.
Yeah.
Missouri, Maine, Oregon. You're talking about moist, temperate places. Yeah. That has to play into what's going on. Not necessarily whether they bought the malt from their region, but whether they brought it in and it sat for a while. Maybe there's some kind of density, moisture density in the malt, or hop, or whatever they're doing, or the way it's brewed, or the way after it's brewed, the way it's sat. I don't know. You know what I mean? But it's like, when I've never had a brewery. Let's put it this way: Boulevard, I like the way they make Belgian beers. New Jersey, I like the way they make Belgian beers. New York can do it. Maine has done it. Oregon has done it. But I've never had a really good Belgian beer from Florida or Arizona.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's like
you kind of.
But I've had them from Brazil. And I think Brazil's moist. I think there's
like a
inherent damp moisture in order to really make a good Belgian beer. That's what I believe. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, when I first got a couple of, it was, who made them? It's there's a Belgian brewery. They make Petroleum. They make a couple other beers. Walls, I think is what they're called. And they're from Brazil. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And I got a couple of their beers. And I was like, let me try them. And I was like, wow, these are really fucking good. And I'm like, you know, and I was like, who the fuck would have thought a good Belgian beer, Belgian style, obviously, would come from Brazil? But I'm like, okay, you know, it's Brazil. You could probably, I mean, I don't think you can ski in Brazil, but you can go from probably close to desert conditions to super damp. So it depends on where the company is. But it's like more like, okay, I think of Brazil, I think of rainforest, I think of dampness.
Yeah.
I think of Oregon, I think of dampness. I don't think of dampness in Missouri, but I don't think of fucking vacation weather.
I don't think of like Arizona.
Yeah. Same thing with Maine.
Heat, yeah.
And same thing with Jersey. People think Jersey, what are you talking about? Like, no, I grew up in Jersey. Jersey
really
is humid as fuck all the time, and it's fucking temperately moist. You know what I mean?
I'd be really interested. My friend Martin works at that Grimross Brewing, and they do a bunch of Belgian beers, and that's in New Brunswick. You know, like Maine and like New Brunswick, like that's the same fucking area.
Yeah.
Of like probably still damp. I've never been to New Brunswick, but I could just guess.
Yeah.
You know.
And honestly,
I think it'd be interesting to try some of his beers.
And that's honestly why I think Omegang personally, I used to chalk it up to yeast profile, and it could be part of the yeast profile that Omegang uses. But I think maybe that might be part of the reason why some Omegang beers for me, I like them, but they don't blow my doors off. But with age, they're really good because I don't think of where Omegang is located as an inherently moist area, even though it's closer to us. It's an elevation change, and when I've been up there, anytime I've traveled up there, it's not like it's dry as fuck like a desert, but I don't know if that makes any sense. Do you know what I mean? But even like Firestone Walker, like their beers, like even their Belgian beers I love, are not necessarily. It's not any of the Belgian beers I've had, Belgian style beers. Again, I keep saying Belgian beers. From Firestone Walker that are good, it would be like whether it be like their fucking, it's all their barrel aged series. So you're kind of jumping the shark as far as like what they are at that point. You're more getting barrel character than anything. So,
and even Sticky Monkey, they're like, this is a Central Coast quad, and like, what the fuck does that even mean? You know?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like my favorite, or maybe it's because of a new factor. My favorite fucking quad I've had from the United States is from a small, tiny, it's called Block 15 Brewing out of Oregon. You know what I mean? That was by far the best quad I've ever had. Non-barrel, and I'm going outside of the barrel realm.
Yeah.
And I think it has a lot to do because they are in Oregon. That's why I think the beer is that good. Not that I'm trying to diminish their skills at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think a lot of it
the environmental factor plays in just as much as the skill of the brewer.
Yeah. So as far as this beer goes,
let's talk about this one now.
I dig it. It just misses the mark for me soul wise. It's a bit thin. It has all the prerequisite flavors you would associate with a Belgian dark, but they're singular. They're not melded together. They're not blended together. They're not one beer. Like a lot of times when about the Belgian Soul thing, outside of that, the beer has to taste like you're drinking it and it's all the flavors at once. This is like I don't know. They're very singular. It's very how do I want to put it? This is the best way I can explain American beers that don't connect like a Belgian for me. They're very like, if you ever tasted like syrup before it goes to a soda fountain, to where you get the flavors of Coca-Cola, but the syrup is kind of separated. You don't get the carbonation. You don't get the combination of the two together. It's kind of like it's like a bit too singular for me. I don't know.
I don't know. One thing that, in my limited experience with more American Belgian style beers, this does not have any of the like banana yeastiness.
So I get a bit of banana out of this.
It's small, but it's
not as huge as
prevalent.
Others. Yeah,
there's ones that are like banana. They're almost like a Hefeweizen, you know, and it's subdued, which I personally really like. I think the carbonation is
perfect example. Let's do this just to kind of like play off that.
Yeah. No, is that from Belgium or is that?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You drink that. I have mine over here. I'm just gonna sip on this after that. There's like
it is missing that like effervescence.
Not even effervescence. There's like you get different flavors together. I mean, we're going from this, which is old school Belgian style, but it's the flavors that I get from this. From this, I get, like I told him, I get this kind of like iced tea kind of vibe from this beer.
Yeah,
this is a beer I reviewed before we went on air. I get these like weird subtle green apple kind of back end vibe where it's like not sour, not tart, but almost. But everything is it's like everything's so rounded on it. The flavors are so rounded, like they wave, not that they're all together, but they kind of flow into each other. Where this is like you're getting this and this, and it's like the flavors are like peaks. Whereas this is like you get this and this and this and this. It's like very more. It's smoother.
This is smoother.
There's way more flavor in this one.
I do like. I'll differ with you on this one. I do kind of get. I get like the flavors kind of hit all at the same time for me. I get like that little bit of banana, and then I get like the candy sugar, or even the malts that they use as well. I kind of hit those at the same time. The thing that it's lacking for me is a little bit more pop of carbonation. When I
say they all hit singularly, it's not like I get one flavor and then half a second later I get another flavor.
Yeah,
and then what I'm saying is they can all arrive at the same time, but they're individual. It's like if
flavored together. It's not iced tea. It's yeast, sugar.
Yeah.
Malt.
Yeah. It's like it's more singular, even though they can arrive at the same time. It's more singular as opposed to being cohesive.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that now.
Like this is 4 water guns shooting every flavor in your mouth at the same time. That is a mist of all flavors together.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
That does.
You know what I mean? It's just like they're all arriving at the same time, but the delivery system is just different. You know what I mean?
This is one of the better like American-made Belgian beers that I've had.
For me, I wouldn't go that far because I always try them constantly. You're not a big Belgian guy, so it's not like you go to
I go like few and far between, especially American.
Let's put it this way: if I went to Jailbreak Brewing and they had this undrafted, I'd ask for it.
Yeah,
but if I had this if I went to my local bottle shop and they had it readily available, it's not something I'm gonna pick up again. I'd pick one up. I'd pick up a 4-pack to let it sit for 10 years. That's the only reason I'd pick the 4-pack up.
Yeah, I would pick up more just to see what it would do. But if let's say I'm in Virginia again and I go to Red, White, and Blue, and they had this. Probably wouldn't buy it. I would probably skip and buy something else, just because I'm like, I've had that. It's okay. I want something different. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I think it was maybe. I forget what I paid for it. I don't think it was no more than $5 for the can. No more than that. So you're looking like $3 to $5, probably.
But even at let's say it's $4 a can, just for the sake of argument.
Yeah.
It's $16 a 4-pack of a 12-ounce beer.
Mm.
This beer, for me, needs to be $10 to $12 a sixer.
Okay.
In order for me to be okay with buying it.
Mm.
But again, that's just me.
Yeah, I forget where. I actually didn't see this place was kind of like really haphazard with all of its like pricing labels. Like some labels were underneath the bottle, and you're like, okay, that's that much. And then there were some that they weren't there, and then you like turned around, and there was like a fucking wall of like label stickers and like on magnets just on this other side. I'm like, am I just supposed to fucking guess? I mean, like I'm down here, I'm gonna spend some money, but like I don't really care at this point. But I kind of want to know how much I'm getting into.
Yeah.
You know? So I think like the other ones were maybe like $2-3. The only reason I'm saying this was probably a little bit more and no more than $5 because it's a 9% beer.
I got you.
You know?
Yeah.
So I would say probably I'd say fairly safe 3 to 4 for that. With the other ones being under $3.
Nice. So let's move on.
Yes.
Outside of this beer review. So there you go. Jailbreak Brewing, Van Dam. Cool label. Cool can. Yeah. Nice beer. Not too shabby. If you're in the area, it's worth checking out. But the other beers I've had from Jailbreak were on par or better. The IPA was better. The chili.
I didn't tell Matt what we were brewing. Or not brewing. Yeah. What we were reviewing until I got here. And even then, I was going to just because I wanted to see what you said about the can label and all that stuff. You know?
Yeah, they went with the whole Van Damme thing where it's like a generic karate guy in a van. Mm-hmm. I would like to see what I would have went, and I don't know about copyright infringement. You could see there's a van and then a guy with nunchucks screaming Van Damme.
No, he's screaming damn it because of the flat tire that's on his van.
Yeah, but he's going van.
Well, the van, the van is outside the speech bubble.
Yes. In my eyes, a great production value guy would have done the same exact thing if they wanted to include a van, but had a karate guy look more like Jean-Claude Van Damme doing a split on top of both tires. You know what I mean? To where he's doing the iconic Van Damme split, Van Damme it. You know what I mean? Obviously, Van Damme it. There has to be a Jean-Claude Van Damme thing in there somewhere. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He is the muscles from Brussels. You know what I mean? So, it is what it is. So, there's a better way to pull that fucker off. So, if you want to hire me, massivebeers@gmail.com. Anyway.
Nice.
And because it's screaming in the face. Van Damme it. You want to have a guy that's kind of sort of looks like Jean-Claude Van Damme, but not enough to where you get sued for fucking infringement. Right? Doing a split guy, on something. Yeah, you could do a split across the fucking dash. You could do a split across the fucking
on the hood of the fucking van or
you
something.
Could have 2 tires off. And the Van Damme jacks, and then him doing the split across the 2 tires that are laying on the ground. Yeah. There's so many different ways you could have pulled this off way better. And people have been like, oh my God, look at this fucking JVC fucking can. Anyway, let's get to the fucking real deal. Let's talk about what are we finishing with? Beers, old school beers that we like? Is that what we're doing right here?
Just any styles in our mind that would that we think would drop off, and then brewers in the future would look back on and try to recreate.
I think Ross beers are really on a way out. I think not that, because there's a difference between Ross beers and smoked beers and the whole thing. I think Ross beers are like beef jerky in a glass.
Yeah,
and I think they serve purpose, but they're few and far between. I could see them going the way of the dodo. I'm trying to think.
That's the first time outside of this one podcast that I listened to that I've heard someone say going the way of the dodo.
Yeah,
yeah.
Anyway, what else am I thinking here? Beers that should go away. Alt beers, Marzens. Here, I shouldn't say that, actually. I shouldn't say alt beers, Martin, because if I was in fucking Oktoberfest, I would totally be down with drinking shit Marzens and alt beers all day long, because I wouldn't be there for drinking beer.
Liters of...
I think a lot of the people that get into beer get this kind of like love affair with like Oktoberfest, and they go there and be like, I love beer, I gotta go to Oktoberfest. Listen, Oktoberfest is not about drinking good beer. It's about drinking as much beer as humanly possible in an environment with a bunch of other people drinking as much beer. Like, you go to fucking Oktoberfest and you're drinking fucking tankards of fucking 9% fucking Belgian ales, you'll die.
Yeah,
you're gonna
have a really
die.
Short day.
You know what I mean? So it's all about low ABV and just drinking and conversing. So there's a lot of like that alt Marzen fucking Oktoberfest bullshit.
Yeah, that
I think could literally go fuck itself 7 ways from Sunday, and I'd be cool with it. Trying to think what else.
I definitely think an alt beer is gonna go the kind of like pair. You kind of see them almost side by side. Is the Kolsch. I don't know if that's gonna drop off, because a lot of breweries fucking do it.
Well, here's
it's like the if you like German beer but don't like wheat.
Well, there's
Kolsch.
There's two things going. Well, Kolsch is not going to go away.
No, it's not.
Well, let's put it this way: all German inherently born beers are not going to go away, because those motherfuckers have such a hard on for Heinz Kaboot that'll never go away.
Yeah,
they're gonna be like, go fuck yourself. We're fucking Marzen, son. But like a lot of, I get Kolsch. I get it. That's what I mean. Like, I'm not gonna poop on Kolsch.
Yeah.
Alt beers, Marzens, sure. A lot of brewers have been pushing. Here's the thing that's been pissed me off for a while. A lot of brewers, if you actually listen to podcasts and you watch brewers and stuff like that, they're really jumping on board and really pushing the light beer agenda, the Pilsner, the Kolsch, the whole light beer agenda, for one reason and one reason only, or two reasons only. One, they drink all day, so they need to drink something that they don't get fucked up by the time they finish work. And two, it's the cheapest beer to make, so if they make it popular, then they make more money.
Yeah.
So there's this whole big push, like, oh, the subtle nuances of the Kolsch or the subtle nuances of the Pilsner. You know what I mean? Yeah. No. I'm sorry. Like, you could try to speak to that shit all day to me, but in the end, you're trying to make fucking money, or you're trying you're just trying to fucking make what's the word? Validate your drinking habits.
Yeah. Like, for me, in as far as like a German beers go, I like Kolsch is my favorite German beer, because I like wheat beers, but I prefer Belgian wits to German Hefeweizens. So if I want a liter of a beer, if I want to drink myself 32 ounces of beer, I'm gonna take the Kolsch, because I know I'm gonna like it, opposed to the Hefeweizen that I'm like just gonna be mildly okay with, that's just me.
Yeah. So you won't see those styles go away. I don't think you'll go away. But like a lot of
like Hefeweizens and Kolsch's aren't gonna go away, because that's like the craft beer light beer.
An alt and a Marzen is the German way of saying, oh, you don't want a Pilsner or Kolsch? Here's our bigger, robust beer.
Yeah.
So the person that's looking to get those beers wants a bigger, more robust beer. Well, hey, fucking newsflash, asshole. There's infinitely better, fucking bigger, more robust beers than those. So
I've made an Oktoberfest, and it was only okay.
Yeah.
Actually, my Oktoberfest was the first to sell out at school, but that was more name than beer.
This fucking guy over
Yeah.
here. So yeah, I mean,
Unique names.
It is
That's-
unique New York. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, beers. I want to come back. Listen, there's this whole like, I want more honey in beer. That's my thing. Like, honey used to be used because you need residual sugars to fucking make shit fucking happen, Captain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You need to make it happen. People in the back in the day would be like, listen, I would eat these fruits off this tree that were rotten, and when I would eat them, I would feel awesome. And then eventually it was like, I'm making beer, and then I put the rotten sugary fruit in the beer, and then now shit is awesomer. Like, starting from the basics, you know what I mean? And then they're like, okay, honey to me is something I think is grossly unused in beer. I understand that it's hard to work with sometimes and actually like do it. Like, again, I may be speaking more to honey malt, but I want more honey in beer.
Yeah.
I want it.
I think to actually get the honey flavor, you would have to like use it not in the boil at all. You'd have to like even whirlpool with honey just to pick up the flavor and just like bump everything.
And that's what I was talking about, more like honey malt and things like that. I want more honey flavor in my beer.
I
don't care how it gets there. You can use fake honey. You can use like fucking nuclear off product, like fucking like horrible shit that will kill me stuff. But if it tastes more like honey, I want it in my beer. I just want more honey in my beer. That's all I'm saying.
That's like my Galaxy IPA actually has honey malt. Like, I call it a smash, but it has a fucking pound of honey malt.
Well, it's one of the reasons why I like Great Lakes, the United States Great Lakes, because we have Canadians that watch.
Yes.
The United States Great Lakes, they're fucking chill wave is one of the reasons I like it, because I get a huge honey pop out of it. You know what I mean? It's probably more honey malt than anything, but it is what it is.
Other styles, we've actually done this, like, we talked about how the Goes was like on the verge of extinction, and then we just decided that we wanted to brew those again. I actually kind of think that.
What's the other ones? I had a thing up with a bit of an extinct shit.
While you're looking for that, I kind of think that was actually, I think the Goes coming back was like
the Gratzer, the smoked wheat ale.
Yeah, I think us brewing Goes, or not just us, like American brewers brewing Gozes again, is kind of due to our fascination, our newfound fascination with sour beers. You know, like sours are gaining more and more of a community, kind of all the time. It's almost like the new IPA. You know, we're at a point in craft beer where pretty much everybody's had an IPA. If you don't like it, you don't like it. You know, you've at least had one. And now like sours are the new like acquired taste.
I heard a really good commentary on this whole subject. I forget who said it. It was on a podcast. Those that don't listen to it, you should, because it's actually I really enjoyed it.
On
Still is Beer, which is Augie Carton from Carton Brewing. And I forget who he had on, but whoever he was talking to talked about this, and it made sense. It's about an opposite. It's an attraction to an opposite.
Mm-hmm.
When you're a kid, there's visceral reactions to stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's like when you're a baby, some things taste awesome, but some things taste so different that you have like this crazy reaction to it.
Yeah.
We all hate bitter stuff.
That's
as a child.
That's actually,
but IPAs took off.
But
we all love sour stuff as a child.
Mm-hmm.
Is there an inherent sourness? We all love it. So is it ingrained in our brains to where it's not that important? Like as a child, bitter doesn't work. But IPAs have
bitter as a base instinct for us has typically meant something that's not good, or even like as far as like poison. in the days of like our hunter-gatherer ancestors, sweet things.
Yeah, but bitter.
Sweet
You could
things
also
were
relate
good.
that to what a fucking roller coaster.
Yeah.
Like fear is bad, but we love roller coasters. Bitter bad. We like IPAs.
We like IPAs.
Sour good. We know that already. Are we really gonna go that far?
Yeah.
Like I'm not a big sour guy, but as a child, inherently, almost
Like
every kid loves
every kid
sour
loves
stuff.
fucking like warheads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's that thing where it's like, is it really gonna work, or is it like, is it an opposite attract thing to where we're like, there's this fear, there's this roller coaster, there's this fucking fun house vibe to where we need to, okay, what's that thing that we hate as a kid? Is that what the next beer thing should be? Like what else? To me, it's whoever can grasp that that Scotch vibe, that band-aidy, plasticky Scotch, and I when I say that, I'm talking medicinal. When I like that medicinal vibe and make it work in a good way.
Yeah.
Whoever can do that in a new beer style, because you get medicinal all over the. It's a byproduct of a lot of fucking brewing.
Yeah.
So you can get it across the board the same way. Like there's a difference between getting cool green apple and bad green apple, and good banana and bad banana. There's a lot of that kind of going on. Whoever can grasp that medicinal taste and make it work in a good way in beer, that's where I think something cool might happen. But we're getting super nerdy on that point, so
it's always fine. Taking it back to initially for this topic, I kind of thought of it as like styles that are around right now, not styles that are making a comeback currently, or even like new styles that we've come up with. I thought of it kind of like a base, like a beer style that's around today, and you already touched on it with alt beers and Marzens. And I would actually kind of agree with that. I think even, I've heard German, or I've read stuff from German brewers that like the Marzens today weren't anything like what was brewed like back 10, 15, 20 years ago, Yeah. But I think would actually be, let's just go alternate. There's if you're not familiar with this channel on YouTube, it's called Alternate History Hub. It's actually pretty cool. They go through like just alternate beer scenarios, or like not beer. I'm going to go through an alternate beer scenario. They go through alternate history scenarios of, say, what if Germany won World War II? Yeah. Like that kind of stuff.
Yep.
I'm going to say, just for fun, let's say porters, like lower ABV stouts and porters, just drop off, and I'd
be okay with low ABV porters dropping off.
So would I.
Cool with
I
that.
typically like my low ABV stout and porter starts at like 7.5%.
Yep.
To like the point of where I'm brewing, I make my chai stout and I go to my friend Ian. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be like lower ABV, and then the next word out of my mouth is like 8%, and he just starts laughing. He's like, that's not fucking lower ABV, but like a 5 to 6% and lower stout and porter. Let's just, for the sake of it, say that those no one makes them anymore. Well, then maybe in 50 years, they're gone. Tomorrow, no one, everyone has agreed by tomorrow that low ABV stouts and porters are out. Nobody makes them anymore. They've just stopped. They're all gone.
Yeah.
50 years from now, maybe that's the thing that that brewers want to recreate. They want to take, imperial stouts and porters have reigned supreme, nothing under 8% ABV, and they want to do something that's like a little bit more sessionable, and they kind of bring it back to almost the Irish dry stout. It's also it's now apparently a world where Guinness has just stopped.
As far as Guinness goes, just to bring it up, I'm really surprised they actually changed their labels on the fucking stout and put the fucking toucan on there and all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know what else. What else?
I think with that little fun alternate history scenario, I think we're pretty much done.
You want to open it up for a half second, or
let's open it up for a bit.
There we go.
I gotta pick
headphones on.
I gotta pick Amanda up, so I'm good for at least a little bit.
What time?
11:30.
Oh, we're good for a while then.
Yeah.
So we're gonna open it up to other people. For those that want to join, you're welcome.
First, I'm gonna run downstairs,
and then we'll see what happens. Fine. Break shit, son. I know a couple of people asked to join tonight, so that's why I was asking to see if people are into it. So let's see what happens with this sucker. So there you go. If you guys enjoyed the show, let us know. lovebeerradio@gmail.com. We love doing this shit. We don't know if people watch it or whatever. We get crazy views. We got a lot of people that view this stuff. So if you want to ask questions, if you want to be part of the panel and be productive, that would be awesome. If you want to come to my house and pet Mika, that wouldn't suck either. But anyway, you want to contribute, right, Meeks? Right? Up here? Oh, what are you doing? Bottles in the way. Otherwise, it'd be much, much cuter, as you would see. Now she's not going to do anything, right? Mika. High five. High five. No? Okay. Anyway. So there you go. If you guys enjoyed the show, write in, tell us stuff, give us topics. We're always looking for topics. That's probably the most frustrating part of the whole show.
Yes, it is.
Is actually thinking of topics. Joe has pretty much derived almost every topic so far, so I'm going to have to start coming off the bench and start providing topics for the show. I have some though. I've been cataloging them, so hopefully we're gonna try to get more brewery reviews. I really need to do that.
Yeah,
let's try to get easy about that, but it is what it is. You know. So we'll see who joins. Megan? No. Anyway. So what was your favorite beer out of tonight? That you've had out of all the beers?
I liked the Russian duck, and also it's nice that I'm using a Russian glass for that one.
Getting that shit on point, son.
Oh yeah. This Belgian beer that we're working on now is pretty good as well.
I like it. I would probably go that. I mean, not that we drank it on air, but I would go that bitter Valentine first, and then Russian Ducks.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Elephant, quick second.
Yeah, that one was pretty good.
What about you, Yosef?
Is it a celebration, bitches?
I actually can't hear you, dude. So
for fuck's sakes!
Let me see what happens. I think. Let me see where my headphones are coming. Oh, hold on. I can see you talking. Stop it! I can actually hear him downstairs. That's the funny part. Microphone. Let's see what we got going on here. Way back. Now I can hear you, dude. At least I can hear you typing like a jerk.
Fuck off.
There it is.
I said it's a celebration, bitches, and then you're like, I can't hear you. Apparently, it's not a celebration.
No, it's not.
Oh, totes celebration, baby. What's your celebration?
The Sabres are winning. I'm watching hockey because I like hockey, and my team's terrible, and they're winning. So it's a little bit of a celebration, and that's all.
Fair enough. What are you drinking?
Water.
Ooh,
yeah,
fancy.
You know, it's a really nice Kolsch.
There you go. See, he's paying attention.
Someone was watching.
Yeah, I call like the second half of it. It's funny that the last topic you guys had about the, do away with regular like stouts and porters. I'll have a contrarian opinion to that because I was actually going to come on and say I would like to see more of those. And here's why. Here's my reasoning. Every fucking stout and porter that comes out, I can't say every, it's a little bit excessive, a little bit exaggerated, but we'll just go with an arbitrary number. 98% of all the porters and stouts that come out in North America, we'll just go North America.
Okay.
They have to be imperial or barrel age or adjunct, or let's add all these crazy flavors. And we all here have been drinking beer for at least, Joe, I know you're younger than us, but let's say just at least 5 years. Matt fucking whatever, 75, whatever, I don't know, 20, 25. Some of the best beers that I've had in my life have been just great regular American porters, like Edmund Fitzgerald Porter from Great Lakes, like Black Butte from Deschutes, not Black Butte fucking 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 with cranberry molasses and blackstrap molasses and 14.32% fucking barrel aged and this one rye barrel aged, and then we do this fucking magical mixture. Those are awesome beers, don't get me wrong. But like there's something that can be said for getting a Deschutes Black Butte that's 5% and drinking it and enjoying it. And you just don't see that too often nowadays.
What did you do?
Anyway, I turned the switch on the side. Anyway, I agree with you. Here's the thing. I separated it. It was more porters. It wasn't stouts.
Mm-hmm.
I love base stouts. I probably like base stouts more when they're not barrel aged. I'm trying to think what I like barrel aged more. I do like barrel aged stouts, but I probably base port, like your 5 to 6% base porter.
I think of the two,
blah.
Of the two, I'd say porter would probably go more the wayside than a lower ABV stout.
Oh yeah, like some of my favorite beers are just stouts, like non-barrel aged stouts. I love me some barrel aged shit, whatever. But I love stouts without being even imperialized. You know what I mean? Like your 8% give or take stout is one of my favorite kind of beers. But your 5 to 6% porters, I think, is a fucking. I'm like, yeah, whatever, man, whatever. Because what I get is mouthfeel and subtle flavor. That's what I get from that 5 to 6er.
And I'm making references to, I think, what are the world class, like the Edmund Fitzgerald, the Black Butte, Anchor Porter. I still think is fucking awesome for what they are, and what it is that a lot of breweries opening now, they don't open with 5.7% porters. They don't open with 6% stouts. They open with, well, here's our cream ale lager because we have to convert those macro lovers. So we got to have something in here that they can, ease into. Here's our IPA. Here's our pale ale. Here's, some kind of specialty beer. Here's a darker beer, just a generic whatever. They're going by the wayside. Like, everywhere there's a bunch of breweries open in Buffalo here. There's probably been 6 to 8 breweries that's opened up over the last year. And most of them don't have a base stout or porter. I mean, they just don't. Most of them have a base IPA, a double IPA, a pale ale, some kind of fucking, macro converter beer, and then a random dark beer. Like some will go with like an imperial stout. Some will go with like maybe like a Belgian, triple or quad. It's just random shit, but it's usually not.
I think the low ABV dark beer, I think they don't even think about that. Just like there's nothing for someone who just likes dark beer. Yeah.
No, and like as far as that goes, I think that has to do with a lot with keeping the doors open in culture. Like a lot of times, if you think about it, by us, one of the best breweries by us is Breaker. They really do not make they don't really make a stout. A really good stout. They blame Black Mariah, but it's like
Black
once
Mariah,
a year for like 2 weeks.
King Cole though is not a bad stout.
No, it is. It's not bad, but it's also a beer I never order when I go there. When I see King Cole, I'm like, yeah, I'm not drinking that shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'm totally picking it up then. Totally picking it up.
It's not. Yeah, it's not even
just
garbage.
Come down. Come on.
It's fucking. It's what it is just leaves me wanting.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing with beer in general. It's not that I want bigger or smaller or wider or more vibrant. I want a beer that's going to give me what I want to give it, regardless of style. and a lot of porters in general, like I said, whatever. But stouts just leave me wanting, and I just don't leave me wanting. Give me what I want to fucking have. It doesn't have to be a booze bomb with fucking smoke, fucking liquid smoke, and fucking roasted coconut. It doesn't have to be that, Joe.
Oh well, it can be toasted. It doesn't have to be roasted, but toasted.
Roasted. Hey, yes, you know what it is. But it doesn't have to be those things. But just don't leave me wanting. Like there's a difference between this beer is crazy good, and I cannot imagine having a better beer, or between having a beer that's going, wow, this is really a fucking good beer. There's a big gap between those two. You know what I mean? So it's not like you don't have to give me fucking a world changer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just give me what I expect.
Well, it's like that that Mad Fox Stout that I was telling you about before.
Yeah.
And now I'm fairly certain they don't know that I do this thing. It didn't come up in the interview with them. But their Irish Dry Stout on cask drank like slightly smoky water. And now, that being said, I could drink that stout all fucking day. You know, but it's not so like an ideal stout for me would have a bit more body to it. You know, especially in that, like, I think it was like 4.2%. You know, like I would want it, just to me felt like something needed to be there.
But that's the argument, I think, is that like you have a brewery like any brewery like Mad Fox or locally Breaker here or somebody by you, Joe, that produces a pale ale or a porter that tastes quite nice, to put it just generically, put a term out there. But then you have breweries that deliver like Dodo CL or other breweries that deliver at the same ABV explosive flavor. Be like, why the fuck? Just do that. Do the thing that Dodo CL is doing. You don't like seriously, like do that thing. Like give me, it can be done. So there's two things that are either going on. It can be done. There's two things that are happening. One, either I'm a fucking asshole and I can't taste it, or two, you just don't know how to make it that way. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it's like I said, like what I talked about, you know, just regular. So like Dodo CL, they make an awesome porter. It's called Aphrodisiac. Here's the thing: it has vanilla and chocolate in it. Mm-hmm. It's not a regular 6.5% porter. They put vanilla and chocolate, and everyone goes nuts about it.
Still 6.5% though.
Yeah. It is, but like I'm saying, non-adjunct. Like get them out of there, and I would like to see what it is.
But here's the thing: I love their roots of species. That's like what is that? 4 and change. But yeah, it has peppercorns in it. But I don't give a fuck if it has peppercorns in it. It's delicious, and it's 4%.
Well, that's also a different style. Like if you just go to straight up porters and stouts, it seems really difficult to pack in flavor without adjuncts or barrel aging to it. Under like,
but I don't care about adjuncts and barrel aging. You give me a fucking Last Snow from fucking cigars or
you shut your whore mouth. You do not get any more
fucking Buddha. You give me a 6% stout that drinks like 15%. With toasted coconut, like a fucking explosion.
Or like the maple bacon coffee porter that's, you know.
No, see, that's the thing, though. Maple bacon's cool, but fucking Last Snow is no juice. It's like...
I haven't had it.
You would jizz all over yourself 17 times.
I already did. I just did.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever, to have it.
Hey, your camera's turned off, so we
have no idea.
We didn't know what's going on.
No, it's dribbled down my top lip. No, the thing is... No, I agree. The thing is when it comes to, you guys were talking about Gozes, right? As the one that came back. You know who doesn't get enough credit in America for it come back?
Who?
Samuel Adams, baby. They had the Verloren on the shelves in their fucking 650 special bottles 4 or 5 years ago. And I remember that was like one of the first American Gozes that was on the shelf, readily available. I remember discussing it with the manager of Premier Gourmet back then. And he's like, oh, like I was uneducated when it came to a lot of foreign styles, and more specifically like the more rare German and Belgian ones. Like I didn't even know what a Goza was. I remember he's like, oh yeah, we got the new Sam Adams Goza. And I was like, Goza? I'm like, that's is it pretty sour? I'm like, is it got going on? I was like, I've had a couple goozes. He's like, no, goza. I'm like, I don't know what that is. He showed it to me. I didn't buy it because I'm like, this has salt in it, and it doesn't sound necessarily great, but it was the first goza that I saw in North America to be packaged on shelves in my area. That, obviously it was crazy, and apparently that's not all that good. I still haven't had it to this day, so shame on me. But that was the first that I remember.
That's actually really interesting because I didn't know about that beer.
I'll be back.
All right. I didn't know about that beer. Granted, you said this was what, like 5-6 years ago?
It was like 2011, 12, somewhere like that. Okay, so it's been at least 4 years.
That's right when I turned 21. Okay. So yeah. I'm like, the youngest of this whole beer group, probably. I didn't even know that beer existed. So that's actually really cool to hear that, like, Sam Adams could probably have very well been the catalyst of this style coming back. At least in America.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, catalyst might be a little bit strong. I would say, and you have to. I'm sure people. I don't know, like when Westbrook goes, which is like one of them, or
I feel like Westbrook was very recent, at least within 2 years.
Yeah, it's one of those things too, where like if they did brew it, say 4 or 5 years ago when Sam Adams was out, was it packaged? Was it available more than in just South Carolina? Was it?
Yeah, was Westbrook even around? Like I don't even know Westbrook's history.
Yeah, I think they've been around for I want to say at least 5 years, but I could be wrong on that. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like they around 2010, so they've been around 5-6 years. But yeah, it's one of those things where like that was the first I've ever seen, and then over the next couple of years, you had the Anderson Valleys and the Westbrooks, and the just all different kinds of stuff pop up.
It's almost like everywhere that does some kind of souring does a goes. Like Unita has a goes, Anderson Valley, Westbrook, fucking Distill. I'm sure there's a bunch more. There's a bunch more, probably even more localized to different areas. I'm sure there's some. I'm sure Jester King, for example, out in Texas.
Oh yeah.
Does it goes that we don't even know about.
There's so many places, and that's good that you said localized, because that's what it came down. Like when the style started coming back, it was like, let's test it out. I don't care if a big person, a big player like Sam Adams went out or whatever. Let's see what people thought, and people actually really enjoyed them. But it was very minimal, the amount of gozas out in the market, 4 or 5 years ago. The only reason I remember the Sam Adams ones is because, like I said, I actually had a conversation, and I remember it vividly because I had that interaction where I was, mistaking it with Guza, and I'm like, Goza, it sounds the same. And they are not even close. But yeah. And also I wanted to mention, Matt, you couldn't think of the 2 jailbreak beers. Funny story is that the 2 that you got sent in the mail, I got sent in the mail from DJ, and you forgot the names of them, but the double IPA was Big Punisher, I believe.
Yes.
And jalapeno beer was Welcome to Scoville.
Yes.
Which that was like one of the worst fucking names ever, because there was no Scoville units in there. If there was, maybe like -4 billion, because that shit did not have, it had pepper flavor, but it had absolutely no heat. No, that's a jalapeno, I guess. I mean, unless you're, not used to that, it was like.
Well, to me, jalapenos kind of taste like dirt anyway. So
yeah, very earthy and dirty. Ugh. I mean, but tasty. But when you're drinking a beer and it's just like drinking a fucking. That was another thing too. I was actually going to segue into this. Is it good? Is it good, guys?
Oh, it is. Yeah. We still have the good too. So
yeah, no, I figured sour would break everything up.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
This is not even sour. It's like more tart cherries. That's all.
No, that's a great beginner sour, basically.
Well, this is the Creek, the Jacobins, not the Cuvée.
Oh, is it? Okay, that's the Creek. Okay, I haven't had that one. But the regular version of that is like, if you want to try to dive into sours without getting fucking just thrown into the deep end, perfect. Same thing with like Monk's Cafe and all those. You know, you get it's tart, it's not sour, and it has a great malt backbone and malt build to just kind of even everything.
The
out.
cherries are kicked up a notch in this. This is what like
My,
almost like remember what I'm getting from this is like remember when you're old school the Twinkies, but there were like the Twinkies with the fucking cherry and the coconut instead of the fucking old school Twinkies. Do you know what I'm talking about,
like
Joe?
Snowballs?
I am a fat guy. I totally know what you're talking about.
Like they had it was like a Twinkie shaped candy.
Okay.
But it was red cherry crustedness with
clearly
coconut on it with
time.
cream in the middle. That's what I'm getting off this. It was like I forgot what they were called, but
yeah. Oh fuck, I can't remember either. I have consumed them and they were tasty, but I don't remember that.
yeah, that's what I'm getting.
My friends that love sour beers would fucking love this.
Yeah, to me this isn't even a sour though. You know what I mean? This is Americanized.
But still, it would hit what they like.
Yeah,
What is that actually? That's a Flanders, right? Flanders Red, or is that New
Flemish sour ale?
Flemish Red.
Pretty much in that same vein.
Yeah.
There's one other thing I was going to mention, and I don't remember because I'm old. That happens. I don't know.
This is nice, like break it up kind of beer, you know.
Nice, break it up, baby. Switch it up. That's what Dustin Joe would do. He switched it up, baby.
So when are we going to get you down here, Joe? You should come down.
It's funny.
Bullshit Paul stuff aside.
It's funny you say that. I'm going up to Canada tomorrow to bring back a bunch of beer.
Oh, really? What do you?
Okay, for what reason?
To bring back all the beer that people have held on to me. Like I'm doing like not trades. Like I have Greg. You know, Greg. Greg. We got Greg, and he's got like 15 beers for me from everything Toronto, Bellwoods. Yes,
wait. And I'm going to stop you right now again.
Reinhardt.
Like Johnny just did that Irish fucking resurgence. That's from you, right?
Yeah.
Where's my beer, man, nigga?
Excuse me?
You heard me.
I mean, excuse me? Yeah, if you want that. Like I thought your buddy George, who fucking basically
I'm just saying, you know, I send you a Hardy. You say you're gonna pay me back, and I'm like, you know,
I don't think
garbage to you now.
Listen, I don't think a Resurgence Irish breakfast is gonna make up for a 96 Hardy. I mean, maybe if it's just great, but it's not. You know, it's Wagner's $5.99. I don't think so. Like it's that.
Well, no, I just wanted to make sure I was on the pay no mind list. That's all I wanted to make sure.
You're on the Matt's never getting a beer mail ever again list because he sent me this fucking 20-year-old beer that probably fucking reeks worse than my balls do. But no, one of those things. No, bad. Got you. Anyway, I'm bringing back a bunch of stuff.
But what I'm saying is, you just come down here. We'll go to Sabatini's.
Yeah.
And we'll drink.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
We'll go down into my bar. Too.
Go into his bar. He has shelves and shelves of shit, and it's just bonkers.
Yeah, no, I've seen the background before. I've seen it.
That's just on display.
I'd like to go to all the empty fucking bottles like Matt has, but not as I don't know, showcased on screen as well as Matt has them all placed. Yeah. Like, you know, he strategizes what is gonna go. We're gonna get this over
back
here
into like the days that I did video beer reviews. You can see the cellar. It's grown since then, but like
actually the best one would be the last one because then you take your camera and actually show like your shelf and shit last time. Beer radio. You actually have to like, these are all the beers I have.
Yeah, either last episode or the episode before that, I flipped the camera around and I showed my.
It actually takes care of me like this is my fucking cellar.
Mm-hmm. How many beers do you have?
Joe, I would say probably fucking 500.
Jesus Christ!
No,
I have like 2 metal shelves full of beer.
Anyway,
they're small ones though.
Yeah, no. So I'm just going up there bringing some stuff back that Greg and my buddy Aaron and Julian. I'm going to go to. There's a place in Hamilton that Julian works at that is actually an awesome craft beer bar called the Bruck's House. They got like awesome food and stuff, and just gonna go up there, meet up with them, chill for the day. Meet up with Devin. You know Devin.
Okay. Yeah.
He's we're gonna exchange some beers and just hang out for the day because it's it is Canada and it's right there, but it's like going to the border with fucking a shit ton of beer on the way there
all the fucking time.
Yeah,
I did it all the time.
It sucks on the way there. On the way back, they don't care. What do you got? I got fucking literally 47 cases of beer in this small car. All right. I'm like, what? What do you mean?
Both ways, they didn't give a fuck with me.
Really? See, on the way up there, they're like, usually.
Well, I went Queenston Lewiston crossing, and they knew the brewmaster program, so they're just like, all right, whatever, you people do whatever the fuck you want, get out of here.
Okay, that makes sense then. Maybe I should go up there at some point. I always just go through the falls because it's closer to me. It doesn't make any sense. But yeah, just gonna bring some stuff back that they like
Just say you're part of the brewmaster program.
Yeah, really.
I'm going there. I'm gonna make all the alt beers. You have no idea. No,
every alt beer,
all the Roggen beers, everything that nobody drinks in the States or Canada. Dude, so much shit has been released in the last couple months up there. So the Bellwoods has like all like their Bring Out Your Dead, 3 Minutes to Midnight, 3 Minutes to Midnight with cherries and raspberries. Their Skeleton Key, which is their imperial stout aged in fucking rum barrels with like 87 spices. Greg put some stuff away for me for the side. I don't think you ever saw Joe, but they obviously all the bastards you guys love. So they have regular Bolshevik, winey, Kentucky. They did a coffee version called Cafe del Bastardo Pilot. So Aaron has one of those. I think they're all sold out. So gonna grab that and come back. And Nickelbrook's releasing a Modest. They actually released it today. I don't know if you ever had that, Joe. Modest or Imperial IPA in the green can with like.
No, I haven't had that.
No, it's pretty awesome Imperial IPA. So I just thought I'd hit a trip and just fucking bring shit back, and then bringing them stuff that I've put aside. Greg's oblivious to anything outside of the GTA area, so he's I just be like, I have this and this. He's like, oh, I never had it. I'm like, oh yeah, it's Sam Adams. It's so great. No.
If you get a chance to try it, I don't know where it would be right now, but give Bronin a try.
Yeah, if I could find it. I don't know. Where do you? I mean, do you just? It seems like he's like a drug dealer, like out of the back of his van or some shit. Like, There's no place to locate it.
It's not. There's no cans. It's brewery. It's draft only.
I got a can because both guys taught at the school.
Yeah, Chad the Albino Rhino got a can too back when he reviewed it, like a year, like last year sometime when they first started it, like a long time ago. And then he's like, yeah, they don't package. It's like, well, sounds like a great beer to try, but
the only thing they packaged was like samples to give to bars. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. No, I want to make a trip down there at some point. Maybe late spring, early summer, something like that. Because it's the same. Honestly, going to Cleveland is. I mean, I went there for the Nut Smasher release a couple of weeks ago, and it's like a 3:15 or so. To Cleveland 3:30, so like it's an extra half an hour to where you guys are. Basically, it's very similar.
Yeah.
What was I say? Interesting news, Joe. Blue Monk closing.
Really?
Yeah. They're the owner of Blue Monk, Mike Schatzel. He owns a shit ton of places around here. He owns Cole's, which is basically down the street. Monk. He owns this new new bar called the Morpat, which is just tap room backwards. And he's starting a brewery at the end of this year called Thin Man Brewery, which is not the greatest name, and he's also not thin, so it's great. And he also bought a place. They're going to have the brewery. It's basically going to be a brew pub, and they're going to try to brew, amazing beer. And I believe him because he does great stuff. But apparently there's an issue with the lease. Like he's partners with another guy, and the guy he's partners with is actually the son of the owner of the building. And I guess they were hoping to be open till May. They were hoping originally September, but now they were like, oh, till at least May. And then this week they're like, we're probably closing by April 1st. Like,
wow.
They're basically kicking us out. Which like Blue Monk is like widely considered one of the best craft beer bars in the country. I mean, they get Swansea Day, one of the few that does in North America.
Yeah.
They always get crazy shit. They actually just did a collab with a Belgian brewery. I forgot which one. They made a Blue Monk beer. Specifically, like the logo and everything's on the...
Probably either fucking the Spruce or the Proof. Those are the two big ones that do like fucking...
Yeah,
anyway.
like the last time that I was there, they had like, you know, signs up on the walls for like, you know, a CBS and KBS release. You know,
yeah. They for the longest time, they've just been like in the area, the place to go. Like when there are special releases, but they've pretty much transitioned to the other place, the Moorpat, which is in a little bit to the like northwest in Williamsville. They get a lot of crazy shit now. Like I don't know how they do it, but they get other half in cans and on draft there, where they don't obviously have any distribution outside of like New York City, as far as I know.
Yeah,
and they get stuff there all the time, like all the time. They randomly get like who makes Lizard King? I want to say Pipeworks.
Pipeworks.
We get Pipeworks. They just randomly get cans and fucking drafts of Pipeworks. I just like I don't know. It's like the place to be, but it's unlike Monk, where I thought Monk was a really nice place where you could go in, you could have some food. It was a little, you know, it wasn't huge, but it was, you know, a little bigger than just like a little shady bar. The Moorpat is just straight up. You go on there, it's like dark as shit. Matt would love it because it's like dark as shit. There's no TVs. You just sit there and you fucking drink. There's no flights. There's no nothing. You get a fucking pint of whatever or like a glass of whatever. You just fucking go to town and tell everyone to fuck off. That's pretty much what the place is. And so I guess they're transitioning more to that in the brewery. But I was very disappointed because Monk is fucking fantastic.
The couple of times that we went over, like I don't know if I was the one that like introduced a bunch of people to Blue Monk, but like that was where we went. You know, like if we wanted to go for beer, if we wanted to go for beer and dinner, you know, in Buffalo, we would go to Blue Monk. Like we went to their Firestone Walker tap takeover.
Yeah, remember the fall time, right? That was the fall.
And then right after we graduated, or like right after we finished the program, a bunch of us went over, and we just got a bunch of samples and stuff. So
yeah, it's
a shame that it closed. Like that was one of the first craft beer places that I went to in that part of New York.
Yeah, it's like I said, I've been to a lot, and it's just gotta get the duck poutine, baby. That's what I had, the duck poutine.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it surprised me just because it's like I said, so well known, just out of left field. It's like, hey, we're just gonna be closing because it's lease issue. So I'm like, what the fuck?
That's crazy.
Yeah, but he has his hands in so many different pots. It's like, whatever. It's not gonna hurt
it
him.
Would be like it would be different if it's like, oh, this is the only place that we have.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, pretty much.
And like it's a crazy lease issue. It's like I didn't know that the dude that owns it has his hand like fucking everywhere. You know, and that's like, all right, I don't feel as bad now, but like it still kind of sucks because it sucks because it's a cool place, but like I don't feel bad for you because now I know you do a bunch of shit.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for him at all because, like I said, he's doing great.
Yeah,
but he
was
like,
not losing money on this deal, you know.
No, and he's like, I'm probably going to reopen it. Probably not going to be called Monk, but it'll be similar and it'll be in a different area. It just be like, you know, that's down whenever I can find a place and get it all organized. I'm hoping he does it a little bit more in the suburbs. There's not. That's the thing. There's, in the burbs here, there's a couple places and that's it. It's like you got to drive to fucking downtown Buffalo, which isn't a big deal because like downtown Buffalo is fucking, you know, comparatively speaking to like downtown Philly or, you know, going to fucking some, you know, like even like I don't even want to go up to fucking actually Toronto because it's like I don't want to just be in downtown Toronto with fucking millions and millions of people. It's got to be a shit show. So I'm like, I like a little bit more laid back, so I'm hoping he kind of maybe on the outskirts of Buffalo. That's why the Moorpat is doing so well because it's in the suburbs in Williamsville of Buffalo. So it's like, you know, parking's not a big deal. It's not fucking always super packed and more of a laid back vibe. That's kind of my deal, but yeah. So I'll totally won't get any beer mail together for you, Matt, ever again. No, if you want one of those Irish breakfasts, I just imagine George like strapping on a fucking cap and just flying like he's Superman everywhere. So like, I mean, like I just assumed like I'm walking and
that's kind of how I see
it had
him
nothing to
as
do with
well,
that beer. I'm just
so-
busting your chops.
I know. I told you you're gonna get one. I'm trying to wait until I actually get stuff, but you know I'm getting stuff, so maybe just maybe. But yeah. Did you ever score any of the bourbon barrel aged Imperial Sponge Candy Stout?
No.
What a fuck it. See, he just lets you down. Like here's Treehouse this and Trillium that. Well, did you get Resurgence Imperial Sponge Candy Stout aged in bourbon barrels? No, you are a fucking failure. Sorry, George, failure.
Exactly. George is very how do I put it? You have to put in work with George. You know what I mean? Like,
George is very
you have to hang
kinda
out
out
with
there.
them and be there like every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
there's
like
gotta be.
we were hanging out like all the time. Not that we're not hanging out anymore, but I stopped drinking during the week. I only drink like once or twice a week now, as opposed to every day.
Mhm.
So because I don't want to die. So
Sounds like a good idea. I mean,
no. That works for me, but when you're younger, you can just do whatever the fuck you want. So
Oh yeah, I'm the same way, dude. I drink. I mean, that's a thing. That's why I have so many beers in my cellar. It's not because any other reason than I just can't drink them all. And I have whatever X amount, and like going up to Canada, I'm gonna bring back probably like 2 cases of fucking beer. It'll take me 2 or 3 months to fucking drink 2 cases of beer. That's just how I am. But in those two months, am I not going to buy any other beer anywhere else? You're fucking right. I definitely will. I will buy a shitload of beer because that's just how it is. But yeah, it's interesting. But
Going through my cellar, I realized how much beer I bought in fucking 2012. I'm like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Same here, dude. 2012 and 13.
I had a lot of disposable income back then. I'm like, fuck.
I went to a bottle share last month, and like all these guys are bringing newer release stuff. Like the one guy went to Hardywood and brought back all the stuff they released like in the last couple months at like the brewery.
it's like Christmas morning and fucking
and
barrel, like the stuff that
and
you thought was
foolery
rare,
and
but then like
trickery. Yeah, all that shit. And another guy had fucking I don't know, like a couple IPAs like from Trillium, whatever. Like it was all new stuff. And I'm like, look, guys, I'm like, I have some cool shit in my cellar, but I'm like, it's not like brand new, it's cool. It's like, hey guys, I have a Dogfish Head Worldwide Stout. But here's the thing, it's from 2008. Like we want to share that, we can, but you could go and buy fucking Worldwide Stout off the fucking shelves. It's not 8 years old, but you could go do it. So like I was telling the one guy, I was like, I got a White Oak from 2012 or 2013 from the brewery. I'm like, the one guy's like, I'd love to see how that aged. Everyone else like, oh, I can go to fucking Premiere and buy it off the shit. It's like, yeah, but it's already aged like 3.5 years for you. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. No.
It's cool.
Old aged and Belgian beers are beyond a lot of people grasp as far as new beer goes. Like there's this whole like.
I think the drink it fresh motto from like IPAs to a lot of people carries over to a lot of other styles.
Yeah.
And they don't realize that different styles can actually hold up.
This is how I equate it. Okay. You know what I mean? You pull up to a stoplight at like you're in a big city and there's like cars everywhere and you're driving down the middle of the fucking like New York City. You stop on the stoplight and on the left you see a fucking like a what is it? A Subaru Impreza pull up, like fucking bomb ass fucking Subaru Impreza, like freaking really nice, taken care of, blue, that cobalt blue you see in a Subaru Impreza, and it has the gold like fucking like frame fucking break. You're like, that shit is fucking. That's a really nice car. But then you see a dude pull up in a fucking Maserati in Maybach. You're like, that's the fucking over here. The Impreza is the fucking super IPA. But then like the dude who rolls up in like the fucking old school Jammer that's fucking 9 billion times more expensive than the Impreza and infinitely better. But the dude in Impreza is like, fuck that guy over there in that shit old car.
Yeah.
That's the fucking good shit. You know what I mean? You're just like, okay, dude, do your burnout in your Impreza.
Yeah.
And me and the old dude in the fucking Rolls Royce are just gonna chill here and enjoy ourselves, and you can just miss out. That's the vibe I get.
Yep, and a lot of it's just fucking straight up crazy hype. Like the last year I went with those guys, I brought like Amsterdam Double Tempest or Double Aged Barrel or whatever Barrel Aged Double Tempest, and what's the fucking brewery? Bottle Logic.
Yeah.
Fundamental
California?
Observation. Yeah, their fundamental observation, which I ended up trading like my fucking vanilla rye for and a couple other things. So I had that, and then I had another beer. That Amsterdam Barrel Aged Double Tempest was the last beer we drank because everyone was like, "Ooh, Hardywood, Foolery, Trickery, and Apple Brandy Barrel Aged GBS," and like everything was hyped because it's hyped now and not hyped fucking years ago.
The funny part is, and it's like the worst part is, the people that give a shit, like about that stuff, like about like impressing. The only thing they want to do is give you something you've never had before, and be like, "This is the best thing you've ever had." But here's the thing: if you tell them about something that's awesome they've never had before, it's bullshit. You know what I mean? It's like I had this thing. It's so crazy. This brewery, they make the best shit. But if you're like, "Hey man, I had this fucking awesome beer, let's share," and they'd be like, "Who is it?" And be like, "Well, I'm like, I've never had it before, so obviously I've never heard of it. So that means it cannot be good."
Or even like a beer that's like, "Oh, they had it and they didn't. Maybe they didn't like it." It's like, "Oh, it's aged and it's actually gotten better. Here, try it." I'm like, no.
I've already checked it in. It in. I'm done. I checked it in.
It's already on Untapped.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Listen. Do they have a alternate yearly version on tap? Oh, they don't already have them. They don't have parentheses 2015 or 14 or 13 whatever I'm drinking. It's not unique, buddy. That's just I can't. It's got to be unique. Well, it's funny you say that, Matt, because it's I experienced that, and being an American and trying to tell people I feel dirty. I'm just gonna say it straight. I feel dirty when I tell people I'm like, they make really good beer in Canada. Like I'm talking craft beer. And when you try to explain to people, hey, there's Nickelbrook, hey, there's Bellwoods, hey, there's Amsterdam, hey, there's this place. You tell these people and they're like, what's Bellwoods? It's a brewery. Yeah. Oh, really? I just said it was. Yeah.
You mean Molson?
Yeah. Oh, why is that? Is that Barrel Aged Labatt Blue? I already had that bourbon Barrel Aged Labatt. No, it's not that. It's not the Apple Labatt Blue. It's like actual barrel aged fucking craft beer. But when I like give people Bellwoods a try, or like, even though they were all about the hype, I busted out that double barrel aged or barrel aged. I always fuck up the name. Barrel Aged Double Tempest. One of the best beers of the night. Everyone was like, "Holy fuck, this is so good." I was like, "That's right, motherfuckers. You know how much that bottle was? What? It was like $14 Canadian. You know what that means?" They paid me $3 to carry that out of store. That's what that means. No, but it's like that beer's
$3 American to buy that beer.
Yes, I listen. I bought a case of it, and I basically own the country now. That's just how that works.
I'm the Prime Minister of Canada because I tasted this beer.
Yeah, true story. Walked up to Toronto, bought beers from Bellwoods, Amsterdam, and Nickelbrook. I own all three breweries right now. That's just how that works. But it's one of those things where like they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's like $9-10 for a fucking 13% barrel aged beer in a fucking 22-ounce bottle. It was $9 to $10. That's that good." They're like, "No." The one guy got a job where he has to travel to Toronto now like once a month, and I'm like, he's like, where are these places? Could you tell me? I'm like, okay. I'm like, yeah, this place is here. I'm telling you, go to them. You'll be surprised, they might not be Treehouse or Trillium. I mean, in terms of hype, and maybe their beer's not as good, but I'm like, you also don't have to fucking stab another man to death in his penis to fucking get it. You don't have to know 800 people. You can drive up there. Toronto's an hour and 45 minutes away. You're going there for work anyway. Stop at these places. Bring the beer back. Everyone will love it.
No, totally. Like, it's how do I put it? And how does Mika put it?
Mika puts it like, "Let me sniff your dude." That's our
Mika, baby. Yeah, baby.
So happy too. It's great.
Yeah, it's that thing where it's like the top. It's like the top 1% or 2% is so hard, and like but everything else is easy. If that makes any sense, do you know what I mean? But here's the thing. I personally believe that top 1% is worth it. I won't do it. I won't wait in line and do it. But the top 1% is worth it for me. But I just won't. I won't. It's worth it for me to drink it, but it's not worth it for me to put in the effort to get it.
Well, no,
you know what I mean?
I think the way you want to put it is it's not worth it as more as it's like they are that good. Like the top 1%, if you correlate it to beer, it is definitely that good where it stands out, where you want to drink it, you have it. Is it worth all the effort to put in to drink above that other beer that's in the 2 or 3%? No, because you can enjoy so much. That's why I always have discussions with people. Like, it's like they want to go to this place, do that, blah, 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 all this stuff. And it's like, walk into fucking, I'll use Premier just because it probably has the most beer on here. So go on a Premier. Tell me how many fucking beers off the shelf in this entire place that you drank percentage-wise. I don't think one person has ever told me they drank, more than 15 to 20% of the beers off the shelf. Well, if there's 2,000 beers on the shelf, you might have tried 200 or 300 on the shelf. Maybe 4 if you're lucky. That means there's 1,600 fucking other beers on the shelf that you've never tried that's in your area. Why do you have to fucking go outside to get it? Because it's hyped. Because everyone's talking about, because you need to have it. And I always tell people around here, I'm like, if you get bored and you want to switch up stuff that isn't distributed to Western New York, make the 3-hour drive to Cleveland, because you go down there, completely different selection of beers, awesome stuff, lots of good breweries between Fatheads and fucking, the Brew Kettle, all these places, just nice. Or go up to Canada. Hour 45 from here to Toronto, you can hit how many breweries, Joe? 15, 12, 15? Just little fucking ones popping up all over
more.
Crazy.
A ton of them.
Niagara on the Lake has fucking Oast House, Silversmith, The Exchange now. Fucking, there's 4 in Niagara on the Lake.
You could do the School, Silversmith, Oast, and then or even if you want to do farthest to closest and then up to Toronto, you could do Oast, Silversmith, the College, and
the
then
Exchange. I don't know if you saw the Exchange.
I don't know where the Exchange is.
It's on Queen Street, 7 Queen Street, and on Niagara on the Lake.
Okay, so probably Exchange, Oast, Silversmith, College. Get on the QEW up toward Hamilton.
Yep,
and then go up to there. Yeah, just do all those breweries in the Burlington, Hamilton area, and then go into Toronto.
Yeah, you'd hit 15 different breweries, and honestly, you could do a day trip. Get up, head out by 8. Mm-hmm. A lot of places don't open to fucking 9, 10. The brewery, so get up at 8. You're up there, hit all these places up. You could do a day trip. It'd be 3.5 hours round trip up to Toronto. Hit up fucking 15 breweries. Bring back probably cases upon cases of beers you've never had. Some of them might be shit. Some of them might be amazing. But you're not fucking needing to trade left. The one thing's about people who trade all the time, they're constantly doing it because they have to. Mm-hmm. They have to trade this for this so they can get this to then get this to get this. Now, I understand when you have a lot of people around you, you just randomly get stuff dropped upon you, Matt. And if you have that happen, that's great. That's fantastic. I mean, I've had it happen now too. But these people are so into it, it's that's all they're doing is trading. They go to new releases because they need to get beers to trade, but also they want to try one and maybe hook up their buddies. But it's they're constantly in motion just to trade. And it's you want to try cool shit that's really good. Sometimes just do a day trip and you fucking will be blown away. Like you said, Matt, about Rushing Duck. You fucking that's a cool day trip and it's awesome. I don't get it.
When I was down in Virginia, the only thing that stopped me from driving an extra 2 hours out of my way to hit Hardywood and Licking Hole Creek was the fact that they were closed that day. So instead I went to DeClaw.
Which that's
yeah,
good consolation prize. Hey. Yeah, it's I don't know. The hype stuff is. I'm hoping like you guys talked about the treehouse earlier. That's cool news that they're expanding, but like you said, with the whole, they're gonna be able to make more for people to fucking come to the brewery, and the limits won't be like 2 cans per person, like a lot of stuff is, or like 2 750 growlers or whatever. It'll be more, and I'm sure more people will get a chance to try it. But they still have to maintain that hype. They have to, hey. Yeah. No distribution, because damn well they could bottle and can and get it out to fucking local markets.
I don't think so, dude. Actually,
you don't think they could?
No.
Well, no, they could if they wanted to. They could.
No, I don't think they could.
What if they just said, "Don't come to our fucking brewery and buy anything. We're just going to local markets."
But that's the thing. Like, why would they do that?
I have no idea. I'm just saying they could if they wanted to.
They could if they wanted to. Well, listen. I could walk. I could cut my fucking finger off if I wanted to. I could do that if I wanted to. But why would I do that?
Mm.
You know what I mean?
I could walk to SBC's new tap room if I wanted to. But
the point is, I
actually do want.
The most logical thing is what they're doing right now. Like, they can't produce enough to make people get that. Like, their business model is come here, get it.
Mm.
And that's their business model.
It to me though, the one thing that is, I don't know, their hours are really shitty, and I don't think there's any reason for those hours. Hopefully the hours are better. They're open like 3 days a week, 4 hours a day. That's ridiculous.
If they're open 3 days a week, 4 hours a day, and they sell all their shit in house, when else are they supposed to fucking open?
I don't know, but you're limiting the people that can come and get it. Like, if you're doing it to 2 or 3, don't you already help
4 hour lines already? What are they supposed to do? Like, magically make more beer appear to where they can open more hours?
Well, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Rotate the hours. Do something. I don't know. I just feel it's weird that. They've always been like that, even before the hype, though. It's always been the same.
But that's the thing. Like, they only opened a year ago, and they're basically home brewers.
They opened they've been around longer than a year, have they not?
No, they opened in 2015.
I don't think that's correct. Sure, they didn't fuck up. I'm gonna go to. Hang on, let me see. I'm on now. It is Beer Advocate, but it says the place has been first put on there in 2012. Julia first showed up for the first time in 2012. Unless it had to be a brewery back then, because I don't think Beer Advocate allows just like homebrewers to put their shit on there.
Treehouse Brewing Company established in 2011. That is on their website.
So stay fucked up in that blog post then.
Well, there you go.
Boom, bringing knowledge without even knowing it. I don't know.
And for their hours, they're open from 5 to 8 p.m. on Fridays, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturdays, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Wednesdays, and 5 to 8 on Thursdays.
And that's a lot of brewery. Like, yeah.
That's
their releases might be different.
That's not like an obscene or like unreasonable hours. Like,
yeah, Wednesdays
hours for a
Wednesdays for can sales only. Which I wonder how that works. They're just like, hey, we only got cans. Maybe your leftover ones, or did they just do it earlier? Maybe. I don't know. There's going to be more available. That's what I know. So hopefully that works in somebody's favor. Probably be the fucking people who like to hoard it. That's probably the favor.
Anyway, I've never waited in line for one. I've gotten some. Hopefully, it gets
George has, right? So. Fucking George has.
I haven't, but
he fucking hovered above the line with his cape on.
The what? The what?
I said he hovered above the line with fucking his cape on. That's not. He didn't fucking even have to put his feet on the ground. He just hovered above it
with all the commoners.
Yeah. Sitting there going, how you doing, YouTube? How you doing, YouTube? George from Massive Beer Review here. I'm coming to get some Julius.
George, a subsidiary from Massive Beer Review, is here with another review.
Yeah, I'm going to review that King Julius tonight, yeah.
I would love to have. I never had King Julius. I want that.
It was at one of the shares with the guys I was talking about. They brought it, and it was like the one weekend I couldn't make it. And they're like, "Oh, King Julius give beer." I'm like, "You can fuck right off with your King Julius." I'm like, "Get out of here! That's bullshit." No, I had green. Like I've only had one Treehouse beer, and I've had 4 Trillium, but I had the green from Treehouse, and I know Matt, you're a huge fan, and Johnny from
you like this. You like the green better, didn't you?
No, I like the green, but I didn't think it was. I was like it. I gave it like a 4.25 on Tapped. It was a fucking good beer. Don't get me wrong, but I wasn't going crazy for it. I liked that. We talked about it on BDU. I like the dry hopped, scaled, the double dry hop scaled. I enjoyed, and I liked metal. Metal was really good as well. And the pot. We talked about like
pot kettle
porters, pot and kettle. The oat milk porter, spot on for this. Like you could not ask for anything more from an oatmeal stout. Like I couldn't. So I was impressed by Trillium. Treehouse, yeah, it's fucking good beer. But like people are like, green is the best fucking IPA ever. I'm like, if that's what you like,
listen.
I
if
can
you're
see
talking
it,
about like if you saying green is the best IPA ever, you're reading into titles.
Well,
you're
no,
into Darwin shit.
No, for sure. That's exactly what I'm reading into.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
There's like 84 question marks after, but then like an exclamation point.
But you make fun of that so much. Why are you reading into that?
I don't know. It's because I find it fun. But no, there's a lot of people like there's a lot of people that like swear by it. Like they're like greens. And then they have the green and Julius debate, and I'm like, I haven't had Julius, so I don't know. And I'm like, why you just settle down? I'm sure they're both fucking fantastic beers. And if they have fucking debates and all this crazy shit over it, like they make awesome beers, so just drink it. Just fucking drink the shit. Have fun, enjoy it.
But that's the thing, like you like just drink it, no big deal. Obviously, it's a big deal. We're sitting here on the internet talking about it. We talk about it ad nauseum, and people want to puke to how much we talk about shit.
It's a big deal.
It obviously matters.
It's a big deal for us, but it's also for a big deal for people who don't use YouTube and don't use social media. Like people who are just like, hey, that's oblivious to me. I just drink craft beer and maybe use Untapped or whatever. There's just, they go nuts over it. They really do. I don't know. I have no idea. The debate's more not within the Treehouse shit. It's like Treehouse it's like the entire New England shit. So it's like who like now at the top of the list, what I've heard from people, it's like Bissell is it. Like Bissell's doing great things. And their shit is so tough to get that now it's worth more than Treehouse stuff. And I'm like, it's currency. Yes, it is.
I mean, that's up for debate, but whatever.
What, the Bissell? I have no idea. I didn't even know these.
I've had 3 Bissell beers, and I really enjoyed them, but they don't even come close to fucking Treehouse beers. And that's me, personally, my own opinion.
It's all our own opinion, though. That's all it is.
Yeah, but my opinion matters. Like I was gonna make a really bad joke and I stopped.
I'm proud of you because typically you wouldn't. Typically you just blurt it out.
Matt beers matter. That's all I know.
You know what it is that you don't drink all week. You just drink one time like twice a week. So now shit's good. That's what I was saying. One thing I realized too. You talk about like, fucking it wasn't good for you and stuff and whatnot. I realized there's a lot of people just being with friends with people on Untapped that drink a lot of beer every fucking day. And I can't even fathom what's happening. Like I'll see the same dude check in 6 beers every day. Like there's 6 different beers. I'm just like, how's this guy even fucking alive? This has been happening for 2 years. He's drinking. Like I could go into the whole like Ronald Terrio, like I only drink 22 beers a week. Well, this guy over here, he's drinking 42 beers a week on average. He's drinking 2 cases a week. Now that's not as bad as some alcoholics that need a case of beer or sometimes even more a day. But I'm like, I don't know how this guy can function in everyday life if he's drinking this every single day. Like I can't. I mean, maybe he's fine. I have no idea. I know I can't do it. Not jealous at all. I'm not whatever. I'm just like I can't fathom my brain.
The most adulting thing I've ever done in my life was like coming home, like and this is recently because up until like a couple of years ago I didn't give a shit, but like recently being like, okay, I want to do a review and be like, but this beer is like 15%. You're like, no, I gotta save that shit for the weekend. You know what I mean? Like that's the most adulting thing I've ever done. Wow. And I'm like, okay, I'll do 2 reviews on a Wednesday once, and this one's 5 and this one's 8%, and then I'll go to bed. You know what I mean?
Pick and choose your battles, man. You got to pick and choose. You're like, I don't know. This one, I might be unconscious for. This one, at least I won't ramble in the video. Who knows? Yeah. But it's
even worse. I don't even want to say what beer it was, but not too long ago, like I did a couple of reviews. So it was on a Wednesday. I did like 3, and it wasn't huge. The last one was a big one, but the last one, like I finished the reviews. I did some internet shit, and I went downstairs and I had like all the leftovers. Like usually when I do a review, I review it, sit down, talk about it, done, move on to the next one. I have leftover shit. You know what I mean? Like I don't like finish the beer completely. You know what I mean?
At that time.
And I had completed beer. Like I had like almost like a glass like twice as much as this left over, a ton. And I just went, I'm gonna dump this out. And I was like, this is a beer that like people would like stab me in the face for. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, right now, just talking about it. I'm just pouring it out. Like, I have to go to bed.
What beer was it? What beer was it? I'm just curious.
I'm not gonna say.
No, come on. You can't tell us that story then not tell us.
No, I'm not gonna say.
That's fucked up.
Honestly, and this is the reason why I want to say it, is because it came from a person that sent me beer.
Yeah, George. Oh no, he sent. Didn't bring you like fucking the superhero in the dark. He's just
no.
like the Dark Knight of beer.
If it was George or somebody else, I don't want to piss on them. I don't want to be like, fuck your beer. You put in all this effort for this beer, and fuck you. You know what I mean? That's why I don't want to say it.
Matt, you're allowed to drain pour any beer I sent you. Just letting you know right now.
It was Miller Lite. Fine. It was fucking barrel-aged Miller Lite. It was fucking barrel-aged. It was Pappy Van Winkle Miller Lite. Fuck you, motherfucker.
It was Mosaic. It was Mosaic.
This beer?
Wait, Back in Black? It's aight. It's aight.
It's different.
It's totally all right. It's like there's missing. There's a soft G, and the half of the G is missing.
It's not all right, but it's aight.
It's more like porter or stout than what I remember it. Like a couple of years ago when I think I actually reviewed this, and I think the video should be up. Maybe. I don't know. There's like a weird, like, did I actually fucking post this? Matt understands it completely because he knows my whole video posting history.
Did you stop watch their Matt? No, and everything?
But like, this can is different. It says more stout than black IPA.
So what you're saying is to me, it's stouty.
Yeah.
Oh, it's totally
very stouty.
It's super stouty. It's about as stouty as you can get. I would like to see Miller Lite make a Mosaic triple hop Miller Lite. Ooh, triple hop, like 3 hops, 3 Mosaic hops, like full.
Only 3 of them.
Only 3 of them.
It's actually 1 pellet cut in 3 parts, but
okay, whatever. Either way, they would not be wrong. It was triple hop with 3 hops in there. Yeah, no, it's you could drain pour, Matt. Future reference, drain pour any beer I send you, doesn't matter. I'm sure I give you my blessing. I'm sure you've already had, and that's fine. Like that jalapeno beer from Kuka or whatever I fucking sent you that I never had.
Oh, that
habanero one. I don't know if that was worse than Welcome to Scoville, but if it was, I apologize, and if it wasn't, I don't apologize. I don't know.
It was like a hop lager too. I think is what it was.
Oh, is that a Sunday morning style? It's just Sunday morning style. That's all that is.
Yeah,
my local grocery store had it on the shelves when I came home from work tonight, and I was like, "Hey, I might as well take this home with me."
Yeah, I've seen it in a couple places here, and I'm just like, "What the fuck?" That was super hype last year. Now it's I can get it. Everybody can get it. I don't care if it's a good beer. Everyone can get it. I have to stab someone in their fucking forehead. It's cool. It's a shelf turd. It just sit with the rest of the turds. Fucking unbelievable. But yeah, so
like the rest of Weyerbacher's beers, they're not hiring me, so I can say whatever they want.
W-E
Weyerbacher. Or if you're my GPS, I'm pretty sure it said Weyerbacher or something like that.
Joe's
Wider,
animosity is high because
don't let it build up there.
With the
Oh no, it's definitely
yeah.
Tell Bakkers of
those-
Wire
Fuck them
how
and
you
their
feel
stupid
about it.
asses.
no. I'll still drink the beer.
No,
I know.
It's all 93 garbage anyway. It's what Bakkers beers are. They're shit. Only when they're not shit, then they're not shit. But when typically they're shit. Now that's so. What you went for an interview and nothing came of it?
No. At least they told me. You know, they could have just been like, "No, fuck you. We're not going to say anything."
They were like,
you know,
like Joseph.
They're like, "Yeah, we're going in a different direction." I'm like, all right, cool, whatever.
Joseph, we would totally like to hire you, but we're going to focus on making mediocre beer. So sorry.
You would be too good for this place.
Oh yeah, we would totally bring you on, but we don't want to get creative. All right, that's way beyond. We're just gonna stick with our core lineup.
We decided against expanding and exploring our options, and then being explorative about what we do. So we're really okay with just making the same thing we've ever made. So if you could look elsewhere, that'd be fine.
We're going to rest on our laurels of being the 18th best brewery in the the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Funny story. There was actually a chance of there not being Weyerbacher like a couple years back. The guys like Matt from Three Guys and Beard was telling me about this.
Yeah,
it's like the owner of Weyerbacher actually reached out to them when they thought they were going to be closing. And told them, like, you know, a couple years back, it really looked like there was not going to be Weyerbacher anymore. And then, like, wow. I don't know if they got like investors or something to turn it around. But you know, a couple years ago, there was a real good possibility of there not being Weyerbacher and us not talking about this.
if Weyerbacher closes his doors in the middle of the forest, does anybody care? I don't know. We would have figured that one out.
Does anyone hear it?
Then clearly not. No one has heard about it until right now. Like I never heard about that.
I think it's something that they kept
on the down low,
pretty down low. You know? Yeah.
No, I'll joke aside. I dig Weyerbacher stuff. I like them from the price standpoint. Like it's one of those things where it's tough to beat. Even talk about Sunday morning. Like I walked in to Premiere when it came out and get a 4-pack, and I'm like,
so like their last chance IPA is actually a little bit more tongue in cheek than it's meant to be, of like the last chance as in rescue dogs, you know.
But they're actually like their Simcoe.
It's good.
Yeah.
I know you guys aren't huge fans of Heresy or Insanity, but like as far as like
have I actually ever told you how I bought so much Insanity my girlfriend almost took my wallet away from me?
Well, that would be no, you did not, and that would be the opposite of what I just said. I like Insanity both in Heresy, but I like them from the price standpoint. Like if anyone would ask me, like, you know, I don't like barrel aged beers, but where do I begin? And I'd be like, well, are you willing to pay like $6-7 a bottle like you are for fucking Bourbon County or KBS or some, you know, the more well knowns? Like, no, I just want whatever, a $10 6-pack. I'd be like, that's not happening for barrel age. But I'd be like, go over and see Heresy or Insanity. I was like, you know, their fucking 4-packs are $12. Like, you're not going to find it much cheaper.
Almost there was a good 2 or 3 months where if I bought beer, if I went on like a beer haul, I picked up a 4-pack of Insanity. And Amanda, my girlfriend, was like, don't you have enough Insanity? And I'm like, no, I don't. I really don't. I need more of it.
Does anybody really ever have enough Insanity? That's the question. No, it's. I mean, I enjoy it. It's tough to find a fucking barrel-aged anything past like a fucking Labatt Blue, whatever, or like, you know, some just shitty thing for $3 a 12-ounce bottle. Like, that's tough nowadays. Like, it's I mean, that's why when Sunday morning showed up again this year, I was blown away.
A little bit more expensive up around you, but
you guys get you're like I'm trying to think.
And only I say a little bit more expensive. I mean mildly more expensive.
Like 50 cents per pack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
My favorite part about this whole, whatever you want to call it, this after hours fucking chat up thing, is Lee has posted twice about trying to join here, and I sent him a fucking link to join that he has seen in his messages. It says Lee has seen, and he's like, I would join this for $3. You know, trying to do a whole I'd buy this for $1 kind of thing. But,
I'm pretty sure Lee would buy any of the beers that we mentioned in the last 45 minutes for any price, being in Nova Scotia, which is a true beer wasteland of all wastelands.
yes.
I mean, it's bad. Like, we had a thing, Joe, where on BDU long time, it had to be at least 6 months ago, if not longer, the albino rhino was one night crying like a little bitch. He was crying like a little girl about, being in a beer wasteland. Oh, I'm in Southern Ontario. And I'm like, that's cool. There's this thing. It's called Passport. Get the fucking passport and get over the river and go to Buffalo or go up to Toronto. Within an hour, you got, radius. You got everything, right? And then Lee's over there. And Lee's like, excuse me, sir. Like, what? I'm in the true beer wasteland up here in Nova Scotia. Like, Nick's in New Brunswick. I guess they get better stuff up there. But, like, fucking the Maritimes is... Yeah, that's a beer wasteland for the most part. Like, and it's such a big area. Like, you go to Nova Scotia, and it's like, if Lee wants to drive to Halifax, it's like 3 hours just to get moderately better stuff. I'm like, 6 hour round trip to go get fucking, stuff that's probably like 87 garbage. Like, I don't know, like just stuff that's just mildly better.
Like 89 garbage.
Yeah.
Well, I think we need to cut the shit short because Joe has to leave.
I do.
And,
Soon.
I want to say one thing before he cut it off. Lee said, no, he's wrong. I didn't ask to join. Matt is just drunk. I was just bad-mouthing me, as in me, in the comments, which I'm sure he was because that's what Lee does. But fuck you, Lee.
Yeah, fuck you, Lee. And your blue tarps and your deletes. Anyway.
Nice tool shed. Nice tool shed.
It was nice having you on here again, Joe. I haven't talked to you in quite some time.
You guys just spring on. Like, I don't know when you guys do them. Like, you usually don't
Fridays
know
now.
Now it's
They're
Fridays.
going to be Fridays now. Yeah. Well, my schedule will change. So, predominantly Fridays. Till we'll see.
Yeah, I'd love to join a regular episode at some point again. It's fun. It's good stuff. If there's any more topics out there.
No, we're always
we kind of come like now we like in the past when we started this, I would get topics up on Tuesdays. Now it's like fucking
2 minutes before.
It's like Friday.
We're going to talk about
5:30.
this shit.
I'm like, all right, I got this topic here.
Perfect topic for the next show. What is the biggest beer wasteland in the world? No, I don't know. It's just
That's not a bad idea.
There's a lot of fucking wastelands.
Wait.
Yeah.
What's the biggest beer wasteland in the world? Who is the biggest beer wasteland in the world?
You could do both.
That's what I want to know.
Extend the episode, baby. Do a little bit of
lots
both.
of Z's. Lots of Z's in this one, baby.
A lot of them.
And Chad is in front of it. Oh, okay.
Oh, son.
Oh, I never did.
Delicious. Okay.
All right, guys.
We're leaving. Goodbye, internets. Peace.